fucking recognize me.
Are you going to do the song?
Robot and the bear. You know what? It's just one of those things that has to happen on its own, Eric. The song just happens on its own. I am not a singing, dancing monkey. You know, clap, 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 clap. Like, you know, when you put me on the spot, it makes me nervous.
Oh, should I stop the stream?
No, don't stop the stream. I'm sorry, people. You know, the song happens when, like, you know, I'm just kind of bored. And
so the best work gets made.
Yes, exactly. It's just like I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and then suddenly, like, weird sounds and beats and, like, music and singing happens.
But we're live.
Woo!
Yeah. So we today, Robot and the Bear is at episode number 30.
30? How many episodes were there of The Lotus and the Jew?
Oh, I don't know, like 250 or something.
Seriously?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
200 how many years were you doing it for?
I'm kidding. I think we got over 100 though, maybe.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I think we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking episodes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gum flapping.
Yeah, but
Yep.
like I'm sure you didn't have, like, how often did you have guests?
Not often.
Yeah.
You know what? It was all about us. Yeah.
Is this a 100% guest podcast?
No. I
No.
mean, like we sometimes, but like, you know what? I was looking at the video of the YouTube, you know, streams or like views, and like when it's just Eric and I, like, you know, we maybe get like 2/3 of what like the guests will get. Like when we have a guest, like we'll like, you know, get like 120, 140, 160 views, and then like once it's Eric and I, it's a paltry like 70 or you know 80.
Not so many, but nonetheless, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So we have Rob Sato in the house.
Rob,
Yes.
yay!
Hi, guys.
Yay! That's my best. You know, have you heard the little kid, the kid screaming "yay" fucking sound thing that like people like throw into like their edits, you know, and they have clapping and stuff. That's
No.
my okay. Well, you need to watch more YouTube videos, Rob.
Yeah, nonetheless. So let's start off with the top fives, and we'll get to talking to Rob in a second. So, yeah, nothing gets done until the top fives get done.
Oh, yeah.
You tackle top fives first, huh?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out how to get this goddamn phone working here.
Well, should I start?
Yeah.
Let me
Because,
see how this works.
Yeah. So number one, Rob Sato. Yes, the Be Quiet exhibition at GR2 continues, and it's awesome to have Rob Sato here. So I'm really happy about that.
Very soon to be ending.
But nonetheless, it's still there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
come down to GR2 and check it out. Okay, number two, I'm going to talk about something I mentioned before on this list. Man, had a rad neighborhood council meeting. Can you believe that? That's
Well, a
a
good
stupid
one.
thing.
Whoa.
Yes, it continues. I'm still doing it, and we had a rad meeting. I'm the outreach chair still, and I don't know. We're moving in a very positive direction for the first time in 3 years. So it's actually really good. It feels really weird that I actually enjoy that because
Awesome. Man.
it's a huge uphill battle, and but it's really fun to try to, you know, basically it's that. What is that? You're the literate guy because you read a lot of books. The dude who pushes the rock up the hill.
Sisyphus?
Yeah, that. Isn't that what that is? Kind of. It's like,
Yeah.
it's this thing that, man, I'm pushing the rock up the hill, and sometimes it comes all the way back to the bottom, and I push it back up, and that's what it feels like.
I imagine that. I don't know. That's what politics sounds like.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it's not marketed by the city, right? So they don't market it. So the neighborhood council is this thing that exists. It's funded, but there's no marketing done by the city. So we're kind of on our own to figure out how to reach people. So it's this really interesting challenge. So I kind of like it because it's a challenge. I think that's what I like most about it. And,
Cool.
you know, what do you really lose out of it? I guess nothing because you're losing the city's money. So kind of, yeah.
I don't know if you should go on record saying that.
Kind of like that. So, okay. But we're moving in a positive direction, and it's actually really fun.
What does a positive direction mean?
Just
Like-
because, before the neighborhood council is, don't forget, there's people who are elected, and some actually can get appointed. Like if you have an open seat, someone could just say, hey, I want to join. And, you're kind of desperate for people sometimes. So you just say, okay, you could join. And then they turn out to be the neighborhood crazy, right? The crazy person. And then you're forced to, once they're on, they're sort of on. They're like a government employee. They're really hard to remove. So sometimes they're the biggest flakes or they're the biggest crazy, and they come up with weird ideas that are just totally off base.
Yeah.
And they have no experience of any sort. And they have no experience doing anything. So when it comes down to logistical things, I'm just like, I've done this. I've done different things that kind of relate. I can tell you that what you're doing, your way is going to fail because I've done this so many times. And they're like, no, it's not, blah, blah, blah. And they think they know better, and ultimately they fail. And then
do they ever own up to it?
No. And when they fail, they act like they succeeded, right? And I'm like, no, that was a fail.
They're excellent politicians.
Yeah, it's really bad. And but they'll lie and flake and all that stuff, and I'm just like, oh, it's so bad. So right now we have a good crew, and I've waited over 3 years for this moment. So here we are. Anyways, whatever. No one cares about the neighborhood council, but
what's your neighborhood, buddy?
Yeah, it's rad.
It's actually not the neighborhood where I live. Right? It's the neighborhood where Giant Robot's at. Because there is a different neighborhood council for where I live.
Oh.
Yeah, there's 100 of them in L.A.
Really?
Yes, including a Skid Row neighborhood council.
Did they ever scrap?
Do we fight each other? No, we don't.
Okay.
But we scrap among ourselves. But right now we're not. But in the past we have. Like there's people that are just like talking shit to each other right in public, in microphones and, with an audience. And
you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You can't say bad words, but you can pretty much say like how someone's really awful using nicer English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Including a person who lost a video camera, evidently, right? We have a video camera.
Okay.
And he said, hey, isn't it missing, Eric? And I said, well, last time I saw it, I left it. You were supposed to pick it up, and you didn't, and now it's missing. So you tell me where it is. And I said that, and he just got quiet. Because he kind of mentioned that, he was asking me where I thought it was. And I was like, you should know. Because you're the guy that actually was in charge of it. And then I mentioned, hey, for 2 years, I had the video camera. I would take it home, so therefore it would not get lost. And the day I left it for this person, it got lost. So, I got to say that in public, and he had to deal with it. So, yeah.
Own it.
Yeah, Victories. That's how it works. So that's a victory. Yeah, I had my fist in the air on that one. Anyways, okay. Number 3, the next art show at GR2 is going to be called Revival, which is basically stuff left over. So,
nice. That's a very uplifting show title.
It's called Revival.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Get a tent preacher in there.
Yeah.
Tent revival.
Sounds good. I don't know what is that.
Hallelujah.
Actually,
it's like a Southern Baptist. Is that Southern Baptist? Like tent revival guys?
That's kind of what I think. Like it has a lot of that river dipping into the river kind of thing. You know?
Wow. Yeah. Like what is that movie? There Will Be Blood.
Yes.
Is that kind of it?
No, I think that's more.
Because there was that one preacher character in There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it like that? Or not?
I don't think I wouldn't call him a revival preacher,
okay.
But I'm thinking more of like
are there
did you see the first season of True Detective?
Yes.
Like where they go.
Oh, that shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They go out to a field and there's it's like a Jesus hype man.
Interesting. I have not seen that show yet. So.
You've never watched True Detective?
No.
Oh, wow. Well, you should check those out.
I know. There's a bunch of shows I need, like HBO shows I need to check out.
Yeah. So that's next. And you guys both laughed, but it's funny because both of you have leftovers. So
really?
So there. The true testament is if you have no art available, then you can't be in the show. That means you're truly badass because it means you sold everything.
Owns that title?
Nobody. Well, technically, you've probably taken a lot of your stuff back, so I wouldn't have any of yours except for what's there right now. I don't know if any of that's going to go up on the wall because it's just there now, but we'll see. Maybe.
Just leave everything up that
maybe.
Doesn't sell.
Yeah, and just
pile shit on top of it.
Fill in those spaces. So Revival, that's coming up October 5th. And then let's see. Number 4, I'm going to speak at my high school next week.
Oh.
My high school, Palisades High. I'm going to go speak at the Asian Student Union.
Nice.
There was no Asian Student Union when I went there.
Wow.
I feel like there was 5 Asians, so I was one of 5 or 6 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
very few, and now there's a shitload. So
Even
yeah.
in LA, there's only 5 or 6 in your neighborhood.
this is Palisades, man.
Oh, I don't know.
This is like ocean, beachy, white people.
Oh,
Because I think in the past, the LA Unified School District required you to live in the district where the school is. That's right. So you couldn't just all of a sudden like live far away, like Sawtell, let's
and
say.
commute to somewhere else.
Right. You couldn't do that. Now you kind of can.
Oh,
I don't know how it exactly works, but you sort of can.
right.
So there's a lot of people
Weird.
that live very far that are going to Palisades High, and that includes a lot of Asians. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
No, you lived in the Palisades?
I did not actually.
Oh.
So I commuted, but
Oh,
not that far, but 5 miles.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait, where is the Palisades?
Palisades is on the way to Malibu, kind of on. I don't know how to explain that, but sort of near Malibu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but before it and past Santa Monica, between Santa Monica and Malibu, Palisades is there.
Akko's brother went to Palisades High, too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a very expensive area.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive. So.
It's a fancy place.
But yeah, so I'll be speaking there next Wednesday. So if you're one of those high school kids, show up.
Mm.
Yeah, all these high school kids
The
listen.
11
to this.
Asians that are there.
And number 5, sad. Yosuke is moving.
Oh,
I think he's
yeah.
moving. I think today's the day.
yeah.
Literally today, he's moving. So pour some out for Yosuke, but he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I said like 5 years.
For 3 years and 9 months.
Well, fingers
Mm.
crossed that he'll be back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
You can
don't
still
know.
give him shows?
sure. So he's moving to Arizona.
Yeah, it's not that far
bad.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you know what's in Arizona?
stays in Arizona.
A lot of ice. I think.
You mean meth?
No.
Oh, you think Yosuke's going to get deported to Japan?
you never,
man.
you never know. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and thanks to
Joe
Yosuke.
Arpaio is
Yeah.
not the sheriff there anymore, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I hope not.
But
That was a
Steven Seagal's
jackass.
there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's the lawman. So there. Yeah. He is. He's the
would be.
lawman. He is. I mean, there's a TV show. He was the lawman.
I remember
Oh.
the show. I remember
Yeah.
seeing like the
I
billboards.
was never a Seagal fan.
Well, but you could watch the show where he's the lawman
Hmm.
in Arizona.
Okay.
It takes place in Arizona. Like it's reality TV. He's in Arizona
Oh, really?
enforcing the law.
Is it still on?
No, I don't
Oh.
think so. But
So
it was
ludicrous.
at that time when it came on. It was what channel is that? A&E. It was their number one show.
Oh.
That show
Whoa.
was their number one.
That
show.
should have been like
Yeah.
the canary in the coal mine for all of American culture.
Yeah. Totally.
But didn't he have like some weird like comedy show where he was like, kind of like playing a secret a spy or something, like a spy who also
Really?
acted or something like that? It
No.
was,
I heard no. I heard like even like his when he hosted SNL
Yeah.
Oh,
like back in the night, it's
wow.
like super famous, right? Like
Yeah, infamous.
he was
yeah.
like a complete monster the entire time, and like he would refuse to be made fun of, and so it was just really like just dead and leaden like the whole show.
Yeah.
some people just don't, some people just don't have a sense of humor.
And he was
Yeah.
one of the ones that kind of got banned, like never again will we bring this
Right.
person back on.
Ah.
But he on that show he played that kung fu fighting song with a guitar, like acoustic. I remember I saw that episode.
Oh yeah, didn't
Yeah.
he had a band and everything? Man,
Well,
what
he had a band,
ludicrous character.
But I mean, but on Saturday Night Live, he just played like sat on a stool, I believe, and he played acoustic guitar and did that song and kind of he sang it but
Yeah.
slowly, and it was actually that was cool. I remember that being cool. I was like, oh, that's funny because him being the martial artist. So
yeah,
anyway, thought that was cool. But then that episode's supposed to be like really bad.
I wonder if
I
it's
think
on
especially
YouTube.
amongst the cast and the writers, they're like, "What is wrong with this dude?"
I gotta see if it's like any of it's like streaming. Can you? Am I the only one who can't hear myself, or am I
You
just?
can't?
Or am I just too
I
high?
can hear you.
Okay. Never mind. I'm just gonna move the mic around and. All right. Cool. No. I'm good.
You're good?
You don't need to
Okay.
tweak it too much.
All right.
All right.
So that's my top 5.
all right.
It broke into weird conversation, but all right.
Yeah, as it usually does.
Yeah.
So, okay. My top 5. Number 5. There is a YouTube channel called Shippage. That's spelled SHIPPIDDGE. And for the past like 8 years or so, they've been doing this weird CG Pokemon animated series called what was it called? Starter Squad. And like they come out with episodes, it's hilarious. Like the voice acting is funny. Like I don't know where they got the 3D models for the Pokemon, but like, you know, and basically, you know, the starter squad, the starter squad is like in the game. There are 3 Pokemon that you choose. You choose either a Charmander, a Squirtle, or a
Squirtle.
Did I say Squirtle?
Yes.
Yeah, Squirtle, or what, the last one, the Bulbasaur. You know, and they've been doing this. He's been doing this hilarious fucking show, and episode 9 came out this week, and
Yay.
it really made my day. And so I highly recommend checking out. And if you go to his channel now, you could find episodes 1 through 8 all stitched together as one.
What's it
big
called
show.
again?
It's called Starter Squad.
Starter Squad. But you had a weird
Wow.
spelling for something. What was that?
Yeah, his channel name is Shippage.
Shippage.
Yeah,
Okay.
SHIPPIDDGE.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this
I don't know.
relating to relationship?
I don't know.
Like, what? I don't understand even what that title is supposed to lead you towards. Or like
I don't know. It just
signify.
goes. That's his,
Yeah.
his. You know, some
That's
kids
his
are
channel.
weird. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
his channel name, and it is fucking hilarious, and
Mm.
it makes me happy.
Victories for everybody this week.
Yes. Speaking of, you know, fun like little YouTube videos that really make this video. I just discovered this video. I almost kind of feel like we should do a reaction video to it. You know, like they have like a group of people watching a video and they all like lose their shit and like comment about it. Like this video is like of that level in my eyes, and that is there is a musician, an EDM musician called Salvatore Ganacci. And he has a video called Horse. And I watched that thing now about like 7 times in one day because it is so amazing. Like, if you see this video and you think about me, you're like, oh yeah, this is straight up Luke Chu's alley.
Okay, what's it called again?
It's called Horse.
Horse.
The song is called Horse. The name, you just need to look up Ganacci, Ganacci, I think, and Horse. And it's this crazy techno song and like this crazy video of like, you know, people and animals and, you know, animals being beaten. And then like, you know, the Salvatore Ganacci guy comes out and beats up the humans. I'm making it sound dumb, but like
It sounds violent.
Yeah.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
violent. It's violent in a comedic way. And yeah, I posted it on my personal Facebook page and it is amazing. I actually discovered it while I was watching an Adult Swim video. You know, Adult Swim, the Cartoon Network.
Yep.
Yeah, like they had these like weird shows that are like 15 minutes long, where they just kind of like stitch together like weird experimental video stuff and music videos. And then I saw this thing, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this? This is amazing!" And then I did a deep dive on the video, and I found out what it was, and it is Salvatore Ganacci.
Jim McKenzie mentioned something about the video with a guy riding in a shoe.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It is so good. I watched it so many fucking times yesterday. It literally
Yeah.
made my day.
Wow, Jim McKenzie's listening again.
Hey Jim, how's
Very
it going, buddy?
honored.
Yeah, we need to
Hi,
have
Jim.
you on. We need to have him on the show.
Very honored.
You know.
Yeah, that dude's a rad sculptor.
Yeah, he
And
is.
I'm now like looking at every picture he posts, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah, you should
Oh,
see his
yeah.
videos. His videos are insane.
that dude's rad.
Harry just showed me a photo of like some carrot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
amazing.
It was
really
amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
It literally stole the show of for Let's See.
There is that ramen bowl with the baby hands and feet.
Yeah.
That one might have been photographed more.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Colin Christian stealing.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah, anyway,
no one bought it.
no, that's true.
So. Wah, wah,
So
wah.
it doesn't count. Okay,
You know, only good stuff.
it never happened.
You know, only good stuff sell. Everything else is garbage.
Wait a second. So the next show, that's the revival show, is just all garbage by that definition.
Yes.
I should have
Yeah.
just called the show garbage.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like my piece for the Let's Eat show, complete garbage. So, okay. My number 3 is Andrew Yang on the Hill. You know,
Andrew Yang, Yang Gang.
Yang Gang. You know, he was discussing drug legalization and referencing the drug treatment and rehabilitation program in Portugal, where they had a big heroin problem out there, and the way they were able to solve it is by legalizing heroin. And basically the way the program works is you offer addicts like the purest, the best heroin you can at prices that are so low that no street fucking dealers can be able to compete with it. And you give them a safe space to use, and then in that space you also offer them counseling and rehabilitation programs and this and that. And maybe at first they'll be resistant to these kind of helpful programs, but over time, as it's in their face all the time because they're constantly going there to use, they begin to warm up to it. Maybe and this program that is famous in Portugal, they saw dramatic reduction in heroin abuse and stuff like that. And so I thought the program made a lot of sense to me, especially since I'm a recovering addict and I'm familiar with what it means to go through those kind of that kind of lifestyle. And this is a program that was a question that was brought up to Andrew Yang, and he referenced it, and I thought, oh well, you're the first fucking politician, and of the, I guess we're down to 10 or 9 Democratic candidates who actually mentioned this. And
So are you now an Andrew Yang?
Are
you part of the Yang Gang?
I wouldn't call myself Yang Gang, but I would I'm definitely intrigued.
Me too.
He's
He's climbing up the polls. What is it? Is in California? He's the 4th, right? I think.
Right.
Dang.
He passed Buttigieg or something. He passed Buttigieg up or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and the rest are on this rear view mirror, so he's rocking.
He's rocking.
Yeah, he's got a plan. It's interesting.
Yeah,
he actually
He's
has
the universal minimum income guy, right?
Yeah.
universal basic income.
Universal basic income.
Which is called the freedom dividend.
Right.
Yeah, because it tested better. Yeah.
Yes.
He's all about math and using other examples like what other countries have done.
Mm-hmm.
And no, he's whatever. He's interesting.
Yeah. I'm very.
Maybe I'll start following.
He's an interesting character.
I'm watching him every day, YouTube clips, because he's now on my feed because I've been watching so many. So to me, he's he should not be 7% or 6% or 5 or whatever he is, right? Yeah. But his nationally, he's probably at 3 or 4%. But from all the feeds, I'm thinking, God, he must be at 20 by now. And it's no, he's at 3.
We
4.
quickly forget we have an entire freaking year, before the election.
Yeah.
And
That's why I'm not paying attention yet.
Yeah.
But he's got a plan because he's gonna start doing that. He's gonna start, basically doing his own test. 10 people getting the basic
$1,000 a month. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about
right?
that.
So he's got 10. He's probably gonna make what I'm assuming a reality video thing that goes with each one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you'll basically see how it works right off the bat and how it changes things and does. He's gonna milk that, and then he's got a plan. That's what I'm saying.
And he was doing this with a couple families before that.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's just sending them money.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There was a couple of families in I forgot what state it was, but he was giving these families, and not just people. He's giving entire families, which
really?
yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't know.
So if it's 2 adults, $2,000 a month, and just kind of asking, and just checking in with them, how has this,
wow.
done for you,
Interesting. He's interesting.
He's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody will need a Patreon anymore.
I do wonder about how the UBI thing would actually work out.
Well, let's say you got $1,000 a month. What would you do with it?
Well, here's the here's the thing. Alaska, right? He keeps referencing Alaska about
because they have an oil tax or something.
Yeah, they have an oil dividend. And so every adult in Alaska gets I think he said like $2,000, or something like that. A month.
Not a month though, right?
It
It can't be a month.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
But like the thing is that like, do you know how
That's good money.
freaking expensive it is to live in Alaska? Like
No.
all the food that like the normal grocery stuff that we take for granted here in the lower 48, like it's fucking expensive out there because a lot of it has to be flown out there.
Sure.
You
It's like
know.
Hawaii.
Yeah, basically. And so like, if you want like freaking cereal, I mean cereal is fucking expensive as it is.
I think is milk really expensive there?
And
I
milk
think?
is really
Yeah.
expensive. Like just produce in general is
Right.
like fresh produce in
Yeah.
general is like stupid expensive over
Yeah.
there. So like you don't, it's the dividend's nice, but like it just makes it so that you're living like a normal human being in, the rest of North America. So like there's a lot of big questions about inflation and stuff like that.
A friend of mine was telling me, he's from Germany, and he was saying that there's an entire province that they're trying it out in.
Is it Germany?
In Germany.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I heard it was in
it's true.
Denmark or something.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I heard they're trying it in Denmark. Or
Germany,
something too.
Denmark, they're just
Yeah.
a bunch of fucking white people, right?
But yeah, no, it's
No kid, just kidding, white people. I love you.
no, you don't. Anyway, no, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I love white people. I grew up in Fresno.
Well, there's a lot of Hmongs there
There is a lot of Hmongs
Yeah.
there, and a lot of Latinos.
and Armenians.
You grew up in Fresno?
I grew up in Fresno. Yeah,
My
that's the
family's
reason
from
why.
Fresno.
I'm sorry.
Well, I grew up in Sacramento and Modesto.
Well, I'd rather have grown up in Sacramento than fucking Fresno.
It's way nicer than Fresno. Or it was.
Like it's called the state fucking capital, and Fresno is just the armpit of this great state.
I generally have a good time in Fresno, though.
Really?
Yeah.
You just go to
Well-
the Tower District and hang out and
I don't know. Well, I guess, yeah, I'm just visiting, so.
right. Yeah. No. Anyways.
I know that they had the most racist baseball teams.
Oh really?
When I was on a high school baseball team, we'd visit there,
Wow.
and
You'd play Clovis West and it was
Bullard.
Bullard
Bullard High. They
Yeah.
Fuck with us so bad. It's like we were a pretty diverse team. Like there's a lot of Mexican kids, like a couple
Wow.
Asian kids. Like my last name was just like ruthlessly torn into. It's like, what the fuck is that name? That's not a Spic name. That's like something else, right? Like you just hear like they're loudly talking to each other, like in small talk.
Oh yeah. Fucking Bullard High.
They just got under our skin.
That fucking Fresno's fucking shit.
Wow.
But
Call out to
okay.
Bullard.
My number
Fuckers.
2 is the Nintendo Switch Lite. I just for the past year, like half a year or almost a year now, I've been watching people like fucking play with their Nintendo Switches, and I heard like somewhere like, oh, there's I kept waiting for the price to go down because I think $300 for a Nintendo Switch Lite is just too much money. And so I waited and I waited and I waited, and then they came up with this smaller, cheaper version of the Nintendo Switch called the Nintendo Switch Lite. It's just a handheld device.
How much is that going to be?
It's $200.
Oh,
And so
that's not too much.
it's a like a big old fucking handheld device that basically is powerful enough to be plugged into a television, except you can't plug this one into a television.
Oh. Well, how many people plug the Switch into a TV?
I don't know.
I feel like not many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Wait, does it have an automatic cast like Chromecast or like Apple TV, or does it have to be wired?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that for
Gamers, where are you at?
I think that like the original Switch, there was a dock that you docked your Switch into.
Oh, okay.
And the dock does not fit for the.
Do you play video games?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really either.
Maybe I
but
should go use the restroom for a while or something.
Look, I'll be short on this one.
Talk about it as long as you want.
But there is this one issue that I've noticed, and that's because like the original Switch, the controllers had like a motion kind of like thing, so you can flick the wrist when you're holding a controller, and it'll like execute an action
Like a Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't figured out how to make that work on this, like the Switch Lite, because the controllers are
Stuck?
unremovable from the thing. So, oh well,
Well, Angry Bananas is listening. Explain how that all works,
Yeah,
because he would know.
Carlos, we'll talk about this later.
Or he should just write it in the comment section, and I'll, explain it, dude. Drop the knowledge.
Yes, and on number one, I finally upgraded my phone.
Oh,
To the
Really
iPhone
is a
11.
week of victories.
Today is one of the few victory weeks for me.
iPhone 11.
iPhone 11 Pro
Wow.
Max.
That thing is more expensive than my laptop.
Whoa, how expensive is it?
No, it is not.
I don't know. That thing's a lot.
Well, after with the trade-in, it came out to about like a little less than $900.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. I
think-
thought they were like $1,200 or something.
Yeah. I mean, I had to trade in my 7, and I got like about like $200 and something for it. So
That shit is crazy.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's I just learned right now that it cannot when you're doing it in front of your whatchamacallit, a microphone and a spit catcher like this, it can't read your face.
Oh, well, yeah.
So
I mean,
You have
it's
to
just-
remain anonymous
yeah.
behind the
yes.
mic.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that is my top 5.
Awesome.
Mr. Sato.
Mr. Sato.
Let's see, I wrote it down. Although, just when you were talking about YouTube videos, have you guys seen this thing called Lasagna Cat?
Lasagna
It's
cat?
like some YouTube phenomenon
No.
that some friends recently introduced me to. It is one of the most psychedelic things I've ever seen in my life.
Lasagna Cat.
It's called Lasagna Cat. It is based on Garfield, but it is made anonymously. There's a YouTube video on there explaining Lasagna Cat. That's like a whole.
I'm gonna have to look at this thing because it's.
But it's like live action mixed with CGI, and they just run through the most like inane kind of Garfield style jokes. But then I don't know. It's like goes on for years. I recommend watching it.
Is it one?
I can't even
Is it
explain
one video?
No, it's a series of videos.
Oh, okay. Lasagna
And it
cat.
gets super strange
Okay.
over time. And then there's one like 4-hour long video
Wow.
where, how do you even explain it? I think you should just look it up.
Okay. Lasagna cat. We'll look it up.
There's somebody did like basically a college dissertation video on it, just breaking it down
All right.
and like
Wow.
the philosophy behind it.
Oh, by the way,
And the production value is really, really high.
wow. Okay,
Lasagna
wait.
cat.
Lasagna cat. You have it.
I'm looking it up.
Okay, so there was a little addendum to your video game, Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
RJ Quiaralta. I don't know how to
Yes.
say it. Quiaralta.
Yes.
Am I saying it right? I don't even know. Anyways, he said his son got a Switch. That thing is really low quality hardware wise. He can connect it to the TV until RJ gets angry.
Oh.
So yeah, but nonetheless, I guess it's a piece of shit.
The light?
No, yeah, I think he's talking about the light.
No. I haven't noticed any like quality issues, but like. I think
Really?
I think he's got the normal Switch because
Oh.
if he's able to connect it to the TV, then
Oh yeah. I guess
Yeah.
that's what he's saying. I thought he meant he got the new shit. Dude,
so
don't talk about old shit, RJ. God damn it. That's old shit.
Yeah, we're talking
Anyway,
about the light.
Yeah, we're talking about the light. Dude. Light.
Light. So this
Okay.
is what we're talking about here, right?
And
Ego stripping for fractured psyche. Lasagna cat. Ego stripping for.
Yeah.
Is that no? That's not him, right? No. Or let me look at Lasagna cat, the channel.
Yeah, it is a channel.
Yay, lasagna
like
cat.
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
I highly recommend going down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not
And
now.
I suspect that it's made by maybe the Wonder Shows and people. Did you ever see that show?
I went to funny thing is the two guys that did that both went to San Francisco State. I went for one semester and I met both of those guys and one of them was in one of my classes. His name he's half Chinese, John. I can't remember his last name. But
I don't know. It just
It's
it has
John
that
and
vibe.
John and Vern are the two guys, and they were strange then,
Yeah.
and then they did Wondershausen,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, it's the same two guys, and they were like best friends, and they were doing that.
Wonder
love that
Shausen?
It was a show.
Oh.
It was kind of fucked up, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
kinda
that was
weird.
another. I think that was on Adult Swim.
Was it?
too.
It was MTV, wasn't it?
Was it?
In the beginning,
I think you're right.
Maybe,
Yeah, it was like
yeah.
with Andy Milanakis.
it was really
like,
it was really
came on
weird.
after
But
that.
yeah, these guys went to my one of them was they were both strange, and they went to my they were in my class at San Francisco State.
Oh.
Yeah, so I knew them since then.
Yeah, they made like a
Yeah.
they made like a Sesame Street style show,
Yeah.
but it's in using children, but it's for adults.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard it was like all weird and fucked up, and
Yeah.
some people were like saying it was amazing, but
There was some
I think
amazing
it's
stuff
amazing.
on Adult Swim, but like remember that one whatchamacallit, that one they had a talk show featuring this big old like monster who ate like this he like hijacks a Japanese talk show and eats like half the fucking people, and
No.
he'll have like
no.
like who was the fucking soft jazz oboe player.
Kenny G.
Yeah, you had Kenny is Kenny
He's a
G,
saxophone
like
player.
A saxophone player, and like and
Would've
saxophone
been
soft.
amazing as an oboe player,
sorry, I just imagined an oboe. I didn't.
Yeah.
I just kind of imagined a long straight thing, not a saxophone. And he had him like standing in a locked in a tub of cement with like knives hanging over him, and like whenever he stops like playing, like fucking the knives would come down. And at the end, like Kenny G dies.
Wow.
And I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
I forgot what the name of that
That
show
sounds
was.
good.
It was so good. But anyways,
Lasagna
Number-
Cat.
Lasagna Cat.
Very
number
hot.
five.
Lasagna Cat, very cool.
Number 4, I wrote Being Alone. I'm alone this week. Akko's in New Mexico on an artist residency.
Oh,
yeah.
so that's why you can come out here so late
Right.
and do this podcast. I get it.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
Thank you for relieving me from my isolation. It's nice to
Awesome.
be here.
And this is good practice to speak.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh
there
yeah,
you
on
go.
Saturday.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
speech.
speaking on Saturday?
Speech coming up on Saturday.
At GR2.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Be Quiet closing party.
What?
Yeah.
It's already closing?
Well, it's the
GR
closing
shows are
weekend.
short.
Oh,
Closing
okay.
weekend.
Oh,
We could
okay.
we can add an extra week, and it'll just be the most worst week ever. So you don't want to add a week ever to a show.
No. Keep it fresh and make people regret they didn't make it.
Yeah, that extra week,
Yeah.
they won't even come. Even if you had it for an extra week, no one extra new will come. The same people will come back and go, "It's still here." That's literally what happens. I kid
Man.
you not. Yes, it's.
I'm glad. I'm
You
glad
will
this
not
shit's
get.
closing.
You will not get other people that are be
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad." No, they're not coming. Even if it's an extra week, it doesn't matter.
Really?
Nope, doesn't work that way.
Wow.
Yeah,
Revival.
We've tried it so many times.
Next up,
it doesn't work.
Garbage show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Revival the garbage show.
But what else are you doing while alone?
Like Sunday was the first day off. I realized it was the first day off I've had since May. And so I just slept for like 3 days.
nice.
Like, I was trying to do stuff, but I just couldn't stay out of bed or off the couch, which felt really strange. Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
But I don't know. Like, I don't like being alone this time. She was gone for a month in April, but this time I'm like, I'm like kind of bummed.
This is
I
only.
feel
It's only
very
1 week.
lonely. Yeah, it's only 1 week. It's only been, since Sunday. And
Oh, it's already almost.
You're already falling apart, man.
I know.
Wow.
I'm very reliant on her company, apparently.
But it's only Thursday.
I know.
You only have a few more days.
I know. It's coming
It'll
up.
be okay. Yeah, it'll be okay.
It's really sad.
No. You'll be
Well,
okay.
you get up to the normal shit. I don't know. Do you live alone, Lou?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's got
No,
Gundam models.
You know what you're like alone. That I just get up to like.
Oh,
weird,
dude,
weird
I
activities. Like,
I will just sit back and like watch videos for when I wake up at like noon and until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and then I'm like, oh, I should eat something, and then I'll fucking like make something to eat, and then I'll like, watch more news because it's usually news shit that I'm watching.
Ugh. Horrible.
I know.
Why are you pounding that stuff in your brain?
I don't know. I find it all very amusing, especially now. Like I honestly will be sad the day Trump goes.
I had a friend tell me that the other day too.
You know, I love the dramas.
It is entertainment. That's why he got elected. Is for
Yeah,
because you guys can't stop
I hate to
watching
say
it.
it, like despite how much I hate him, I'm all for 4 more years.
God damn.
Like, you know,
That's
like
some
no one
decadent-
get no, like, you know, I want someone who makes my blood boil, you know, and like
You're addicted to the juice. That Trump juice.
I
all up in
am.
your
I
brains.
am. Like, I hear about like all these crazy injustices that he's fucking pulling off, and I'm like, oh, I hate this guy, and I'm like, it's like such a rush. I'm like, yeah,
You're fucked up, man.
endorphins. Anyways,
Caligula man.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
when in Rome, right?
I guess so. Yeah, what's the next one? Number 3. What did I write here? I wrote meth. I just have the story like, you guys ever done meth?
No.
Yeah.
Was that what you had to recover from?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it was one of the things that I did a lot of. Yeah.
Oh. And I was just, me and Akko were both like meth kids. Like it
Oh.
was just like we're from fucking, you know, California. Like that's like you're from Fresno. You're from Ground Zero.
Well, I went to San Luis Obispo when I went through my drug phase.
Oh, okay.
You know, but you know.
Oh yeah, that's where you know Jamie from, right?
Jamie Alexander.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She was actually Jamie Bear. She's the reason, and I'm Luke
Oh,
Bear.
she should be here.
She should be here. You know, that's right. I keep forgetting that you're like good friends with Jamie.
Yeah.
You know,
She's great.
She's back in L.A.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm not that good of friends with Jamie.
Yeah, I haven't seen her since she moved back. You know, Jamie Bear, where are you? Anyways, I don't think she's watching, so you know, whatever. But
Sorry, I'm
anyways, but go on, Meth.
yeah. Sorry, Akko, I'm letting out your meth secrets. But we were watching like some Frontline a few years ago, and we were realizing that how lucky we are that we were doing that we did meth in the time that we did it.
Bro.
And
Because
so
it's so much worse now.
it's worse now and it was worse before. So it was like there's like 2 cartel brothers who moved to Fresno, and they had like a line to like Indian pharmaceutical companies.
Like in India?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was when I don't remember, is it pseudoephedrine or something was like completely unregulated. So they could just order as much as they want, and they cook so much of it and it's extra pure and super addictive.
Right.
So it's from like 1990 to 1994 or something like that. And they finally got busted, and like they were the entire supply of meth.
Oh.
So like before that was like biker crank
Right.
and stuff. Like they were just crushing up Sudafed basically and
Right.
making it. But then like in high school, like we started doing meth. It was so cheap. It was
Right.
like $3.
Yeah.
And you'd be like high all day
Right.
on a weekend. Although I couldn't handle it very well. Like it would be
Most
fun, but
people
like,
can't.
It's fucking awful. Like the come down is fucking terrible. And so it would be like every once in a while. But Akko never. She was like, "Oh, it's the best."
Wow. Wow.
She never felt bad. I think she just has like a shitload of serotonin. So like her serotonin stores are just like
She's always like such a pleasant person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Energetic.
You know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, you know.
So did you ever pitch? Because you were a baseball pitcher. Did you ever pitch on meth?
No, I never
Oh,
pitched on meth.
shit.
I did go to practice on acid.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. What is that? Who's the baseball player? Who?
Doc Ellis.
Doc Ellis. There
Yeah.
you go.
He threw a no hitter on
Yeah.
acid.
So you didn't do that though.
No,
Did
I
you-
did watch a teammate throw a pitch on acid,
What happened?
and then he also played first. Well, he like walked 1 million people,
Oh, okay.
and then he played first base. They moved him over to first base because they couldn't figure out what was going on. But I was just watching him like. Just just staring at the sky.
Wow.
Just like spinning around. Pretty much what you'd expect, like in a cartoon of somebody doing acid on a baseball field. That's what he
Right.
was doing.
Right.
Holy smokes.
like eyes are just big saucers and like, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then they showed. So anyway, they showed the quality, like the graph on that front line was like the quality of meth from up to 1994 was super high, and then right when we are doing it, it
Goes
goes
boom.
bottoms out, and then after we go to college, it goes right back up again. And so we're right in that period where it's like it's just garbage and it's not addictive, and so that's why I'm here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's yeah, I remember like, the fucking crap that was coming out of, Culver City. Ugly shit, man. But
Culver
anyway,
City.
lots of all that Culver City crystal. You know, that's where I was getting it from.
Like where?
There's this,
Culver
like,
City?
Yeah, there's some people like.
You mean like we're really close by?
Yeah. I would like
At somebody's house?
Did you
Yeah.
like go to the meth lab?
No.
I've been to a meth lab.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew like in San Luis Obispo, it was just like all gross, like peanut butter crank kind of stuff, you know, and like just like disgusting. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Shit.
So whose meth lab did you go to?
I don't know.
Oh.
Like, it was a coworker. He was like, "Can you come with me?" Like after work. And I was like, "Yeah, why do you need me to come with you?" And then we drove out to it was like a field, like an orchard in Ceres. Do you know where Ceres is? No, it's like maybe 20 minutes south of Modesto. And you just went into an orchard, and then they had buried they dug out a hole and they buried a trailer. And like drove a trailer down into a hole
Right.
in these orchards. So it was level with the ground. The top
Wow.
of the trailer is level with the ground. And they were cooking in there, like in the middle of this orchard. And he was just like going there to buy meth.
Wow.
But he didn't tell me we were going there. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we here?
Like, this is
It was
crazy.
like 3 in the
shady,
morning. Yeah.
weird.
And of course the guy there is like, who's this? You know, like he's pointing at him. He's like, who's this guy? Like, why'd you bring him here? It's pretty terrifying. That was like one of those times like, I'm getting out of this world.
Yeah.
Like it's
Dude, if there was ever like a world where like the people whom I had to deal with were like completely nuts and scary nuts. Like I've had like guns pointed at my head and fucking like, you know, it was always had something to do with meth, you know, and
yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. You know, just keep smoking your pot, kids. You know, it's perfectly fine.
Wow.
You know? Interesting. I had no idea. You know,
You guys are more alike than you thought.
Yeah. But except like it's you did the pre-college high school dip. I did the like post-college like what the fuck am I going to do with my life dip, and then like then I moved to Los Angeles and got my art career started, and then I ended up finding out like downtown was a big open air drug market, and I wasn't ready for it. So, but I'm fine now.
Yeah,
so,
good job, man.
You know. So everyone's got to have a dip. Nice. Well, that was interesting. That was very enlightening. I honestly
like one of those things I think about.
Wow, and then you even outed your wife
I know.
at the same time. What the fuck? Wow.
Is she listening? Does she know? That?
I don't know if she might eventually listen. She never listens to anything that I don't think she generally cares.
She's like, she lives with you. Like, well,
yeah, she's heard it all before.
Yeah.
It's just like now I'm like, is her family going to hear this? Or my family?
Oops.
Nah, they're not going to. Nah.
I just won't post it on Facebook.
Yeah,
Right.
but I will, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you. I got your back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. What number was that?
Number 2.
3.
Oh,
3?
I'm down to 2 or 3.
I think you have 2 left.
2 left.
I thought meth was the third one.
I thought it was the second.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you guys so number 2. What were
could
your
be.
guys' first jobs?
First jobs. Oh, I worked at a sporting goods store.
I worked at my mom's and dad's, fast food Chinese restaurant.
Does that count? I mean, I worked at my mom's restaurant. My mom had a restaurant also,
counts.
so I worked there. But I mean, the first one where I had to work with a bunch of strangers was at a sporting goods store.
Oh,
Yeah.
the first one I had to work with a bunch of strangers was. Well, okay. I mean, like, I did a bunch of shit jobs. Like I worked at the University Union Pizza place, and I worked at a Chinese restaurant like off of campus. But then, like, the job that like left a big impact on me was, you remember, like back when I don't know if they still exist, but they used to have like newspaper rags that for used car listings.
Oh.
Yeah.
The recycler.
Yeah.
That's what it was called here.
Mm-hmm. I used to work for one in Fresno. And
You were for a recycler?
Yeah. What?
Or like the penny saver or whatever?
Yeah, like a penny saver kind of thing. And like it was the most insane fucking grind. But like, I did that for like a summer, and
What were you doing? Like layout and stuff?
yeah, I was doing like Quark Express layouts and stuff.
Wow.
and,
Rad.
you know, and
That's cool. You know how to do that shit though.
yeah, but nobody's Quark Express anymore, so
Nah.
wah, wah. But
Well,
Yeah.
still,
no,
you
it
make-
taught me how to maneuver, like to use like the keyboard to like use like design apps as opposed to like having to go to drop down menus to like do everything. So that was the one benefit. But then I had like the art director like would pull me aside and go like, you know, like very few people get to live out their dreams. You know? And I was just like, yeah, I know. You know, okay. Well, you know, like I guess she saw in me a naive like kid, you know, with like big dreams, and you know, she needed to like smack a little bit of that
Wow.
reality into me.
God,
You know.
all that's job, right?
Yeah.
What's it got to do with anything? But okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh,
Was it helpful?
Yeah, it was like
cool.
that dream like definitely left an impression on me. You know, like
that job?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Not the dream.
No,
Right, the
no,
job.
no.
Yeah, you said that dream.
No,
that job.
No, I'm
Yeah.
I'm definitely living my dream, but
Yeah.
like, you know, it's that job definitely like kind of taught me something about. But
What about your job?
Yeah,
what
about
did
you?
What was your first one?
My first job was I was a paper boy, which is like crazy
oh,
quaint.
okay, yeah, like you're living like the good old. You're like a good old boy
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
I was like an all-American
Yeah.
kid.
nice.
How old were you?
11.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just like the reason why I was asking and thinking about this a lot. Like I'm meeting more and more people who've never had like a job, like a real job like that, or like just
You
a
mean
shitty
artists?
job. Like artists, but people who work maybe in like production and that kind of thing. Like they went to school, they didn't have a job in high school. They went to college to do a job in animation or something, and that's what they do now.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like
So
I'm
they
meeting
didn't have
so
they-
many people who just like, oh no, I've never worked in like a restaurant. I've never worked.
Oh.
In which is,
and
it's
that's the
just kind of
reason why
bizarre
there's
to
such shitty tippers and fucking,
me. I don't think they are.
you know, and they just treat fucking like, you know, restaurant employees like complete shit.
Maybe.
I won't say that these people are doing that.
But
I'm
so
sure there's a lot of people who would.
you was on a bicycle?
Yeah,
Right.
I was on a bike.
And you threw the paper
Threw the
just like
paper.
that?
Yeah.
Did you have to fold the paper in half and put a rubber band on it and do the
yeah,
whole thing?
you have to get up at 4:30 in the morning, and it's like crazy that an 11-year-old kid
Yeah.
is getting up that early to like band, 140 papers or whatever, and especially like even on a Sunday where you can carry like 5 in each
They're heavy.
saddlebags.
So-
Like, they used to, a Sunday paper used to be
They're
like
big,
that thick
yeah.
around.
How much would you make in doing that?
I remember my first paycheck was $111, and it blew my mind.
Wait, for how long though? Was that a month?
That's a month.
Dude, 11-year-old foot with $111.
Yeah.
That is like a shit ton of money.
It was
for
a shit ton of money for me.
Wow.
Because I think before, like, up until that point, I had 75 cents a week allowance for my parents or something like that.
Well, that's a lot of work though. How many? Like 2 hours? 3 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours, probably 2 or 3 hours every morning.
Wow. And then what? Then you go to school?
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
god.
like exhausted.
Holy shit. So what kind of bike did you have at 11 years old?
I had a Huffy, I think. It was like a converted Huffy.
Like a
like a-
BMX bike?
It was a BMX bike, but then it's like had a rack built onto the back and a rack built onto the front, so I could carry as much paper as possible.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You know, I have not seen like a paper boy in so long. Like
I don't think they exist anymore,
yeah.
except for maybe in the burbs or
Right.
like out.
yeah, because like, you know, I know that I've been up late enough to see like, you know, whoever delivers the newspapers to like my mom's house when she still got the paper, and it was always just a car, like, you know, with someone like with the passenger window open and just
Yeah.
throwing it out.
So wait, did you have the canvas bags that go on your handlebars? Because that was like a thing too.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And that's made for bikes.
Sac B.
What's that?
Sacramento B.
Oh,
It was like
Sacramento
delivered.
B. Yeah, there you go.
Sacramento B.
Wow.
Nice.
That's rad.
That
Yeah.
is cool. Yeah.
And so, yeah, you were 11. So I didn't have a job at 11.
Yeah, I didn't have a job
Yeah.
at 11 either. I think I started helping my parents out in the restaurant like when I was like, like probably like 17 or
There's
something.
a
like that.
point where you're useless. Even if you think you're going to help, you're completely useless and in the way.
Mhm.
So I think I did the same thing. I was a little older before I got to really do anything there.
Right.
But then, yeah, I worked at a sporting goods store, and I think I was 17. right at the end of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I did that, but yeah,
It's cool to have a job, some money.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wait, where was your parents' restaurant?
Santa Monica.
Oh, I didn't know they had a previous restaurant.
Oh yeah,
from
Santa
GR
Mon-
Eats before
Oh
GR
yeah,
Eats.
no, that 32 years. My mother owned a
Holy shit.
restaurant, and it was a really big place that had a full bar, a 25-seat sushi bar, dining area. I mean, it's a really big restaurant.
Oh wow.
And she,
That's a long run too. That's
32 years, and she ran that and sold it at the end. And then
cool.
it quickly changed hands many times, and then I think there's a restaurant there, but it's completely different.
It's not the same.
No, I think it changed hands many times. And when she sold it to this one person, she knew right away. She was like, "This isn't gonna work. Like, I'm taking the money, I'm out." But my mom already knew that person was not gonna make it. And sure enough, she did not. The new owner didn't make it, and then sold it, and it changed hands many times.
So wait, GR Eats, was your mom the?
She was just helping out
Okay.
ultimately, but yeah,
I never ate there.
it was okay.
It was good.
It's all right.
I never ate there.
Jonathan Gold used to eat there like regularly.
Oh really?
Yeah, like that was
Yeah,
his go-to place with his wife and kid.
That's rad.
Oh wow.
He used to come on Saturday.
Did he ever review it?
I think he might. Yeah, he put in a review. He never like wrote a grand review, but he wrote about how because he was like he would just come and eat.
Right.
Yeah,
Like count on the a certain quality of the food and.
so he'd just show up and
Yeah.
always eat. That
It was
like
like solid.
that was his go-to
like a-
place. He really enjoyed it.
I would probably eat there a lot if I lived
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I never ate there.
Luke.
I know.
Luke.
I know. That was a time when Eric was like distant. He was like there, and I was just down here and like
what do you
still
mean?
swimming in the mud.
Oh my gosh!
You know, just still doing warehouse and underground warehouse fucking art shows. You know,
Yeah. Man.
I wasn't a Death P son or a Cozy and Dan.
Oh,
The most beloved junior artist.
Yep. You know.
What was
so.
your parents' restaurant?
We had my parents had a couple restaurants in Fresno, you know, where I grew up, and they were basically like little mall Chinese spots, and they did steady business, and they did well, but you know, the mall eventually wanted to get a franchise restaurants in there, and so like
Makes sense.
they
Fuckers.
just cut them out, you know.
and who ended up coming in?
Here's like the worst part was like on the last year of their lease, like fucking, you know, they had the mall put in the food court right across the way a Panda Express.
Whoa, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's really turning the
Wow.
Yeah. After
them.
fucking like being like a steady, like, you know, like always on time with the rent for at least 12 years.
Wow, that's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
See, that's just like no loyalty at all, and that's
That's cruel.
That
Yeah.
is the erosion of our fucking world.
right.
The
you
fact
know,
that their loyalty is worth nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah.
Man.
Fresno Fair Mall. Fuck you.
Did your parents make orange chicken?
No.
Oh,
They
okay.
they did make a sweet and sour pork though, where like they would fry the pork and they would keep that separate from the sauce. And so when, you know, you ordered it, you would like it. They would get like the nuggets of pork, and then they would put the sweet and sour sauce on top of it. You know, so it would still have that crunchy.
So did they have
Dude.
Chinese food for white people and
It
Chinese
was-
food for Asian people?
No, because
Oh.
it was a mall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
mall.
so they
Yeah,
didn't
like, yeah.
they didn't have the secret menu.
No,
like,
it wasn't a secret. There was only like one restaurant that I knew of when I was growing up in Fresno that had the secret menu, and it was
Right.
a restaurant called Golden Dynasty, and I don't think it's there anymore because it was a long time ago. But like, yeah,
Did you say long time ago?
a long time. It was a long time ago.
Okay, anyway.
So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. I mean, like it makes sense that like, you know, there. I guess, you know, maybe it's an LA thing, like, you know, like,
Maybe.
you know, kids, like, you know, just
Maybe it's just like people who were going into that particular job, like animation maybe, or
right.
going
No,
to
that
movies. I don't know.
but still that means they didn't ever have to have a job. They never
Yeah.
had to have a you know.
I mean, I'm not looking down on it. It's just
You're
like,
looking
it's-
down
No,
it's-
I would totally fucking look down.
Yeah, you're looking down on it. Anyways, yeah.
I just
Nothing
find it
wrong with
curious.
looking at like, look, you know, like there's something to be said about like fucking like knowing what it means to fucking like earn a hard, days, like a minimum wage dollar.
And also that is, and it's also
True. Everyone should work food service at least
Yeah.
once in their life.
food
That shit
service
is
or like
horrifying.
or even any kind of like pure shit job too is like
Right.
yeah.
Like
try
a soul,
it. Try it.
give a solid year of soul crushing work. It will leave a positive impression on
Right.
you.
Character building.
And I'm not talking about like working retail at Giant Robot or something
Oh,
like
that for them that's soul crushing already. They're like, oh.
So
But like
everyone we see there is just an empty husk of a human.
but like talking like working at a fucking like a restaurant with a rush hour where like you are like worked to the fucking bone.
Yeah. It's like going to war.
Right.
Yep.
It is.
I mean, not to actually say that.
But
Not to
you,
belittle anybody who's actually been to war.
but you end up pretty beat up though at the end of the day.
Right, like
Yeah, it's
like
rough.
working like during like in the mall, like during Christmas, fucking season or some shit like that. Like it's
Oh,
But you also
Brutal.
like coming out of a restaurant, you smell bad. I
Yeah.
mean, you smell
So you
like
never get it
restaurant
off of
smell.
you.
Yeah,
Like, I
there's
worked
restaurant smell that's
Oh.
unique to restaurants. That's not even unique to a certain kind of food. Most people who work at a restaurant, there's a restaurant smell.
restaurant
dude.
smell.
That's
Yeah.
why I empathize with people who work at pizza places. I told you I worked at the University Union, pizza place, and like I was so self-conscious of the pizza smell. Like the raw pizza smell off of me. And I used to take that at the time I was taking a Stanley Kubrick class, and like all the movies are being like shown in a theater, and like it was a packed fucking theater. Every seat was like taken, and I would have to go in there and like there's someone to my left and there's someone to my right, and raw pizza smell just fucking coming out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever I see like a pizza person, I always tip, and I feel bad for like, man,
Wait, you worked
Yeah.
at a restaurant too, right?
I worked at a few. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what you told me about it, but I forgot what was it.
I just worked at a few different restaurants. The one that I think I may have told you about, like I worked graveyard shift, dishwasher,
Yeah.
and busboy at
That's hard.
at like it was like one of the fancier restaurants in Modesto. It was like $50 plates, like a big
Whoa.
deal. But it was also like one of those places that people would have like weddings and reunions, like
Oh.
class reunions at. So it had like a patio with like a banquet
Wow.
situation and stuff like that. And is this the story I told you? Like that every time there was like, especially if it was a high school reunion, like the place would go crazy. Like, and it was like also seeing like adults at their worst, like because they're having like a 20-year reunion,
Right.
and like people are like fucking in the closets, and
wow.
like they're getting really, really drunk.
Wow. Oh.
Wow.
It's like a yeah. There was like a there was a playground area too for like kids to like play in, and I was getting off of my shift at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and they were still like raging.
Wow.
And I went out and I was waiting for my other friend to get out, and I like was sitting in his car with his girlfriend. We were smoking weed and in the parking lot, like waiting for him to come out because he like still had to like wash dishes for another hour and a half or something. And on top of the slide, we saw this couple like get up there, and they're like talking, and I was just like, oh, those guys they're gonna fuck, and she's like, yeah, and I didn't even think they were gonna do that, but they all of a sudden it just started happening. Like and the moon was right behind them, so you just saw this
How scenic.
the silhouette of her panties being pushed down between her legs. And I was like, we're like, oh, my friend's girlfriend goes, she's like, oh, it's happening.
Oh my god.
And they never realized they had an audience.
No, they were so fucked up that like this is horrible. Like he bent her over, like the slide rail, like you use it to like
Right.
pull yourself under it and go down the slide.
Yeah.
He bent her over that. And he was just fucking her from behind, and like like you could just see his face, and his like tie is over his shoulder. He's like. Completely drunk.
So at that,
And so my friend came out, and like we were driving away, and they were still doing it, And so we were like flashing the lights on them and honking. You're like,
Oh no!
Like,
and
yeah.
nothing. Like their just faces were just like just completely gone.
Wow!
Nice.
Ecstasy.
Wow!
They're having a
That's-
great time.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times in Modesto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your number one?
Oh, okay. Well, my number one is I want to talk about that artist that we all think is underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah. I mean, overrated.
Overrated. Mr.
And
What's his actual name?
let's not talk about it. Let's not say it. But I just want to know.
He should not
I
be
wanna
named.
Know, I want to know your reasons why. Like, my reasons, like, I just don't get it. Like, there's nothing there for me at all. Like, I don't understand why it's even popular.
Okay, you know what?
It's like I don't even have a frame of reference for how to talk about it. I was just like, what?
Okay, you know, like,
And how much money that stuff is. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I remember, okay, we're talking about fucking Cause. and,
Cause watch.
you
It
know,
starts,
and
it starts
so,
here.
like, okay, like, I remember
Shit,
the
I
first
started
time I fucking saw his work, and it was when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I remember going to a Hennessy and Ingle, and, you know, they had this weird Simpsons book
Oh,
and
the Kimpsons.
in the fucking like plastic shell, and I remember like I think I was able to like look inside it, and like it was basically about like 16 pages.
Yeah, it was a cardboard book.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I'm like, 16 pages for how much? Like, this is fucking bullshit.
I feel like it was about $40.
yeah, it was
Whoa.
it was ridiculously expensive for
I sold it too. That version.
Now but like knowing that, like, you know, this is like 2003 when I first
Oh, and that was an import book from Japan, I believe.
Probably.
No? I think it was.
probably.
Yeah.
So this is like 2003, which means, it says to me, like, he has been at it for
Since like 98 or something.
right,
Yeah.
Been
exactly.
around for a while.
He's been around for a while.
Because he was doing toys, Nero and Bounty Hunter, you know,
Right.
that brand.
right.
They were doing toys. Cause was already like doing toys at that time. So we're talking like really like late 90s, very early, like one of the first generation of that vinyl toy scene.
Right.
He was right there.
Yeah, and so like, you know,
That's
he
crazy.
he came up. I got to give it up to him for timing. Timing, his timing is fucking impeccable. You know, like, you know, and then like, you know, like the reason why I am just not at all impressed by what he does is because, you know, it's a lot of, you know, dare I say, blatant, you know, stealing of other people's IPs. Simpsons, SpongeBob, Smurfs, fucking Snoopy, all this other shit, and fucking dropping X's on his eye, on the eyes. And it's kind of like, all right, whatever. The most original thing he's ever fucking done in my eyes is the companion.
Well, that's his character.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just a fucking, like, you know, a fat fucking Mickey Mouse. So, you know, because of the thick limbs, you know, and fucking, you know, the slightly more human fucking proportions. You know, I mean, even though the Michelin, he also stole the fucking Michelin Man. He fucking, you know, you know, just, you know, whatever. Now, like,
Recycling. I don't know. There's.
yeah, he basically recycles stuff, and I guess, you know, to a certain degree, he was, you know, gotta give him props for being the most popular at it. You know, like, I am a fan of his companion work. I there's some of his pieces that he's done that I actually think are really cool. It's not fucking $1 million fucking cool, but it's fucking cool, you know. And, you know, like, I think the one that I always kind of refer to is like he did a toy where it was like, you know, a companion holding two little baby companions, and then I, you know, and I when I saw it, I of course had to ask, like, so does he have kids? And, you know, people who are like, you know, jerking off to Cause all the time, like, yeah, he's got fucking 2 kids, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I get it. Fucking there it is. It's, you know, it's kind of a story about being a father. You know, great. You know, like that's actually kind of interesting. It's not deep or anything, but it's kind of fucking interesting.
I guess that fits in with like keeping it absolutely pop, but
right.
I just
You know,
it's like I know it's not for me, but I don't. It's like a lot of times I was like, oh, this isn't for me, but I get why people think it's good. This I don't understand it at all. Like,
I mean, it's the hype machine fucking working overtime to a certain
Yeah.
degree.
Okay.
And now
That's a
he's
good
gone.
explanation.
He's gone to a point in my eyes where it's just like he cannot fail.
I always thought, okay, he's one of those things where he hit a peak, it's done, no more, and then it just keeps going, like it doesn't end.
Right.
It seems
now
like
that doesn't mean that he can lose relevancy. It happens.
but it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
He's been like at one level very high, and it continues.
Right.
Like he hasn't. I don't think there's been a dip.
Right.
Yeah.
But but the thing is
It just keeps going up.
I think it's finally. I mean, what's happening is it's like he's brought so much attention to himself that even fucking jackasses like myself notice and have an opinion about it and are not afraid to fucking share it. And whenever I fucking mention having this opinion, I'm always pleasantly surprised to see how many other people out there fucking share in that opinion with me. They just a lot of people are just apprehensive of fucking actually saying it because it's like a Voldemort kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I outed myself 90%, and then you took it all the way.
So Albert Reyes says it's crap art.
And he's just throwing everybody.
And then Albert says, Luke, burn your companions.
I do have one.
Yeah.
I do have one. I sold my other one. I sold it for $400 or something like that.
Cool.
Which was
Nice.
Used all the money to buy drugs.
Wow.
Because
I guess the perfect use.
it all worked out. But I mean, and I think I have a bootleg companion that is somewhere in storage that I got for $75, and I think that's about worth it. But the thing is that you see the fucking crazy shit that's going on in China, when the Cause Uniqlo fucking t-shirts.
Oh yeah, they're breaking into Uniqlo to take it all.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just kind of why is this even fucking shown? Because the thing is that Chinese from mainland China are very unsophisticated concerning pop art. They didn't grow up with this kind of stimulus around them, so they don't understand it, why it has some kind of meaning. They're only interested in it is because there's a couple of jackasses out there that'll pay stupid money for it.
That, or they just see it on media of some sort, like someone else is wearing it, or just
people
hype.
in Japan are fucking great are hot on this shit.
Yep.
People in fucking Korea are hot on this shit. This fucking pop star is really hot on this shit. But hundreds of fucking people rating a fucking Beijing fucking Uniqlo, they don't fucking get it. They don't fucking get it. Look,
there's just no cultural context.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There is no cultural context, and so it's and so it's just silly. It's more about what people are willing to spend pay for his work than whether or not his work actually has any kind of depth or kind of cultural relevance.
I also wonder, but if we're talking about just what happened in China, I wonder if China's weird, right? So I've been there a few times, and
China's weird.
China's weird.
It is fucking weird.
So
I don't know.
Beijing
I've never
especially.
been there.
But for example, I feel like if 2 people broke into Uniqlo to steal cause, 50 more will also, because the 2 are doing it, and we should all do it.
Right.
I
Wait,
feel
this
like
happened? 2 people broke into.
I don't think
Was that what
I
you're
don't know.
talking
Did they break in? I just think when they opened opening the doors, people were squeezing through.
It was
to
that
get
gate,
there.
the roll-up gate. But
Yeah.
then they kind of went in when it wasn't open, is what I think. But it was about to open or something like that.
I thought it was opening.
But basically,
The gate was slowly rolling.
It got
and people
ransacked,
just-
but they didn't buy it. I think they took off. I don't think they paid for it.
Oh, really?
But nonetheless,
Oh, that's sad.
But I just feel like it's one of those things where they, some people did, and they just in China,
no.
they're gonna follow and go, we should do it too.
And the funny thing is, it's
And
a
they-
fucking Uniqlo fucking T-shirt, man. How many thousands of these shirts were fucking made?
Yeah,
Thousands upon
tens
thousands.
so many that I think they couldn't even give away the the black Snoopy plush.
Right.
They couldn't even give it away. So they got to the
Didn't
point
you guys
where
they threw extras into like orders and stuff like that?
yeah, they were giving it away.
Yeah.
they couldn't give it away, but they literally were having to give it away.
Yep.
Yeah, too much.
They should have saved it for fucking China.
They probably sold out there too.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like,
Wow.
I mean, but like, you know, I still enjoy some of the work that he does, but like I just don't. Some of it. There's a couple of pieces out there that I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of
So
cool.
Luke, let's put it on record. Luke likes Cause.
Yeah, you can put it. Yeah, I don't mind putting
No,
it on
you
the record.
don't. You lying sack of shit. You do
Like
not.
I like his sculptural stuff.
No, you don't.
I don't like his inflatable
Yeah, you
sculptures.
don't
I think those are fucking like whatever. But like, you know, like, and like, you know, his like deconstructed Snoopy shit, like I fucking hate, you know. But you know, the companion stuff I think is, you know, okay, yeah, all right.
The companion stuff is his original.
Right. Yeah. I guess his original like kind of
design,
IP,
sort of based on Mickey Mouse.
Is slightly, slightly kind of a variation on Mickey Mouse, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's kind of just
So
using
boring.
American old, kind of animation style from the '60s.
All right.
Those style of hands are puffy, and I just
It's
think
it's literally a fucking Mickey Mouse, but like, you know, with different proportions and his
but it's a very
skull
classic
and,
cartoon style.
right.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's so empty.
well, you
Like,
know,
I don't even hate it because it's so like right down the middle, boring. To
Right.
me, you know.
right. Well, I mean, I don't know.
But it does make me go like, why?
Yeah.
Is this a thing?
Yeah, I don't understand why it's a thing.
It's a phenomenon.
but
in a way.
I think a lot.
It's like he's sort of like he's figured out or somehow stumbled on the exact fastball down the middle art. Like
he started working with. He got lucky by working with the right people.
Yeah.
You know, he found people that, you know, were going to be the right, you know, hype machine to help get the ball rolling. And then later on in his career, they would go on and do public, you know, take the work that they collected of his on their own.
But they were building up hype by buying out his shows to begin with in like that era, like early '90s. They were already buying out shows, saying it sold out, but they were buying it themselves to bring up the values and make the scarcity of it, and then getting commissions of it. For example, you know, so they're raising the prices of it and getting commissions, and then lo and behold, here it is. Like last year or this year, they sold it, you know, at an auction and very high value, very high. You know, the money was high, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he ran into all the right marketers, including himself, but all the other people that kind of. It was all streetwear, you know,
right?
That whole streetwear business of hype type stuff, for whatever. It's probably not even real in the end, but you know what I'm saying? It's real, but the way it was done was actually just all deception in a sense. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that show did not sell out to individuals; it sold out to one person. The gallery owner bought it all.
Oh,
right?
One of those.
But actually, because
I see.
I mentioned it before that I actually went to that show, his first show in Japan, and I remember walking into the gallery going, "Whoa, this is Cause." I knew who he was. Everything was sold. Except for one piece. Literally, there was one available. I should have bought it because that's worth that much money, right?
Right.
But whatever. At the time, I was kind of like thinking, who bought all this shit? Because it was a big show,
Right.
a lot of art.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, how the fuck did all this sell at these prices? Because they were high. I was dumbfounded by it. I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
And it was totally it was that Nego guy who bought it all. And who then recently sold it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess a good investment on his part.
Because all those pieces were at the auction, and I was like, "Oh, nobody really bought it. Just this guy did."
Right. Well, you know, have you seen like we've discussed this before?
Adam ruins everything.
Adam ruins everything. You know, and
Did you
art.
watch that? Did you watch that?
I've seen a couple.
Okay, watch the one
episodes,
on
I think,
art.
from-
Yeah, the
okay.
one on
Yeah,
art.
that one.
Like, it's
Yeah.
basically a bunch of fucking people.
Oh, it's price fixing.
Yeah, it's price fixing and and hype. You know, so. Like, and the thing that what's interesting about it is that it is outside of the fucking academia of art. It's like a new fucking leg of like
Yeah.
pop art, who
Yeah.
are
Did you guys watch that HBO documentary too? Is that The Price of Everything? I think was the name of it.
I never seen it.
It's good. It's like a super bummer,
Oh, wow.
but it's about kind of like the modern art market, and it's kind of
Wow.
like there's like they're pointing out in there like a lot of different things. Like you get to see. Like I was on the fence about Jeff Koons, and then like watching that, I was like, oh man, this guy's so oily. Like he's like a hypnotist, salesman.
Wow.
He's so slick. And then, they're just talking about like now is the first time in history that you're like loan or like a bank manager will encourage you to buy art, like
Right.
invest in art. Like it's like before it was like, what? No, like that's like it's too volatile.
right.
But now like it's like no, you should buy a house and maybe buy some art.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, I truly do believe that I can't imagine. There's not a lot of art out there that like will not, like, grow in value on its own kind of way, right? Like, part of it can be because it's like an antique. It's an old thing. It's of an era, and so it goes up in value. Now, like, will it go up in value like, like a fucking Cause piece or Jeff Koons piece or, whatever? Like, more than likely, no. But it'll still go up in its value because it, with age and with time and age. It's like, fucking like Antique Roadshow shit. Fucking like you see like they'll have like some no-name fucking artist out there and, they have this painting that's like 100 years old. The artist is long gone. It has some kind of nostalgic quality to it and fucking, it like they spent like $100 on it, and
Right.
now it's worth $1,600.
Yeah, and I look at those and I've seen those, right? Have you seen those?
Which
The
ones?
paintings. It's like antique
yeah.
roadshows,
I've
and,
seen a few, yeah.
it'll be an artist who's passed away now, and it's like, oh yeah, he painted the colonial whatever, and then you realize, oh wow, the price is like $2,000 or something. I'm like, oh, I have friends who make more expensive art than that, and this is like.
That's still a big deal.
Yeah, but like considering
crazy.
how much the original investment was compared to what it's worth now, it's
Yeah,
still
Yeah.
worth a lot more.
Yeah,
It's
but
like with the internet,
it's
too,
really
like,
low
how
price though in
many
general.
People,
weird.
like how many paintings you see like were the shit going back, like super radical, weird art that people are making in like, I don't know, the 19th century or even before that. Like I'm seeing stuff come out like, I follow a couple accounts on Instagram. They're just showing old paintings, but they're like, wow, these landscape paintings are really expressionistic, and they're from a long time ago.
Right.
And these people like were really, really good, and like they predate a lot of like Van Gogh and all those
Right.
folks. And it's like, oh, people have just been like rad for a long time. Like they've basically been the same and been good at art.
Right. Have you seen? Well, it's like the Van Gogh story is a fucking wild one on its own right. Because like he was basically like kind of this quote unquote really discovered post-mortem. It was like basically his brother and his sister-in-law who were trying to get his work the credit that they felt it deserved after he died, and it, well, I mean, obviously it got there, but like it's there, I think that like what becomes important and what doesn't become important is such a fucking, I don't know, it's such a weird fucking game.
Yep.
And like, who decides these things?
Hype
Price
machine.
fixers.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, watch that HBO documentary. You get to see like some gallery owners like really like make some shit up.
Wow.
Really,
Oh man. It's funny. Jun Watanabe, the enrolled agent, he says it's like Bitcoins. Make sure the guy behind you pays for more. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I just kind of I think the thing that I think that if what the lesson that there is to kind of gather from all of this is that like as artists, don't try and follow the footsteps of previous artists, because every fucking story of someone's eventual success or whatever is going to be completely different. You can't fucking go well, this is how blah 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 did it, therefore I'm going to fucking try it. And it's like, no,
It sounds like a bad way to go.
yeah,
Your chances of success there are probably really small.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with some people, like, all they do is strategize about making it.
Oh, really?
It's super.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys, it's not gonna happen. And it's crazy boring.
But usually that they think that there's a formula, but
Yeah.
there's not a formula exactly. You know what I'm saying? No. It comes with there's got to be some hard work, and you said luck. You would say luck or whatnot, but it's one of those things that's
Just
hard
gotta
to
make the work.
But
Like,
but just because,
mostly that.
but also it's hard to repeat. Like if I had to go back, and let's just say I could start all over doing something else, making a magazine, whatever it is I was doing, right? The chances are it wouldn't work again. It was just the right time, right place for everything, and
Right.
I don't think I could just repeat that.
Yeah.
Same with like imagine Cause. If he started all over again, you never heard of him, and he's making art for the first time, it probably wouldn't work.
All right.
Absolutely not. And Supreme, like that brand, if they started all over and had to make a new brand called something else,
Yep.
it probably wouldn't work.
It probably would
No,
not work.
Absolutely not. It Ugly Doll, same thing. It's like Ugly Dolls worked at that one time,
Yep.
and it worked all the way to now. And then if he started all over with another brand, maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like really hard to. The
You only
chances are
have
slim.
one fucking lifetime, man. Fucking like milk that fucking lifetime.
Yeah, if you
You
can
know?
if you get a second thing going, that's awesome. So a few people do, right? They
Right.
actually can get it going, but a lot of times it's just one time for that thing, whatever thing it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it's
Cultural context.
Unless you do something different, there is that too.
Right. Well, I mean, like I think that the best way of doing these things is to do them anonymously. To build up a second brand like anonymously. Don't use if you have like other ideas that don't fit within the scope of the idea that you're known for, or then fucking like do it anonymously and see whether or not it kind of builds on its own fucking credibility as being its own thing.
Ugh.
Or just have fun doing it. That's
Yeah.
kind of part of it.
Right.
It's like you have fun
I
doing it,
can't-
and that's cool. At least you
The
have fun doing
second
it.
the word branding comes into my head,
Yeah.
I can't make art anymore. Like it just.
Don't you kind of feel that like we live in that kind of time right now
Oh, of
where
course.
like there's like artists are built around a quote unquote brand of their of their own creation.
I can't go a couple days without hearing about it. Like,
Oh no.
Oh, really?
I just can't. I can't think that way myself. That's all. Like I can't use the word without just wanting to walk away from making the stuff forever.
Because there's definitely a Rob Sato brand. You know that.
I don't want to think. I don't want to think about it, and I don't know that.
I mean, like when
I
I
really-
see your personal work,
Yeah.
like despite like how it evolves, like it all kind of feels
Yeah. It came
somewhat
from me.
cohesive to
Yeah.
me. Like maybe have the way you use space, color, and texture and stuff like that. It all kind of like has a cohesive quality to it. I guess maybe to a certain degree, like we're quantifying it by calling it a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop it.
But there is something that I always wondered too. Is I feel like I guess you would say, hey, there's all these different things you've done over a period of time or a long period of time. But I feel like there's the old shit and the new shit in your work.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
There's a
mean,
line.
there's definitely
There's a line that you crossed, and when you crossed it, your work was very different. But it was at one moment. It seemed like, was it at one moment? It seems like one moment, and maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Sounds about right.
Maybe could be a little more than
Yeah.
that. 7 years ago, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah. I think there was just a point that I reached about 4 or 5 years ago where I was like, I can go, I don't know. It's going to sound like I'm bragging. Like I can draw anything. So what am I going to do with it? I can draw in so many different ways, and I can render the shit out of something, or I can try to go in these other avenues.
Actually,
like-
that reminds me of a conversation that you and I had a while ago, and that was concerning the medium of watercolor. You know, and how like you know, you earlier, or maybe when you were in school or something like that, you were not, you know, doing watercolor stuff, and
Yeah,
that
not
like
so much.
I guess you're painting with either acrylic or oils or something like that. And because acrylic and oils, how you can be able to paint over it, you know, to if there's something you don't like, you could like, you know, you can mask it, hide it. But like with watercolors, you know, you have to kind of own it, like,
Right.
You know,
And that was the transition. That was a major transition. Was like moving to watercolor from, acrylics and oils. You can just my perfectionism at that point was becoming prohibitive to me actually finishing anything. You know, like I could see how I could change it and make it better, and then I would just keep working on a piece, and it would go into like years. And it was like I can't do this anymore, and I have to figure out a way to loosen up, basically. And then I liked what I was doing with watercolor, like in comics, because at the time I was like, I need a medium that I can draw on top of. So I was doing that almost exclusively just for comics and illustration work, where I needed something that would take an ink line over it. And then I just started playing around with watercolors a lot more, and it got more chaotic. And I don't know, it was like freeing. Like I was released from my own prison. The prison of me.
where did you go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
It was called California College of Arts and Crafts, but it's CCA now, California College of the Arts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Oakland, right?
Oakland
Yeah.
and San Francisco. And now they closed the Oakland campus
Yeah, San Francisco.
at San Francisco
Yeah.
exclusively.
So he basically went to school with David Cho.
Oh, okay.
Death
Yeah,
Beat
we were
Son was
roommates.
younger, right? Death Beat Son was a little younger.
Death Be Son.
Akko was a roommate.
Akko was my roommate. She's Chris Chow.
Chris
was the
Chow.
same year as Death, I think.
Yeah.
And then
There was like Sean Boyles. Was he part of that?
he was in that
he's-
house. We
now-
lived in a house
now-
with 9 people and 1 bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, that's the house
Eric
I went.
visited there.
I
Yeah.
visited.
That's where
yeah.
I met you the first time.
Yeah, and it was and you giggled a lot.
Yeah.
You did. I remember that. But I just remember it was the dirtiest apartment I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
It was fucking gross.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really bad. I couldn't believe
Bay
that.
Area living, man.
It's not. No. That
Now,
could
this
be.
is pretty remarkable.
That could
Bay
be.
Area student living, man.
I'd like to see photos of it. It's art students. It's just really dirty.
Yeah.
But like, I'd love to see a photo of that kitchen, for example. It was the most fucked up kitchen
was
I've ever seen.
horrifying.
Oh my god, there was no space anywhere for anything because there was dirty fucking shit everywhere.
Yeah.
There was not like an open surface.
You mean
anywhere.
like just supplies, paint, blah blah blah,
Fucking
or
cups,
like
dirty dishes.
dishes.
How many
fucking-
cups were like on the counter? Like, I think
All of them.
Like 50. Seriously, not one would be washed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
it was crazy.
I'm a clean person, even then. But there was just I could not stop the tide, and
It was
just
insane.
became. I had to like give in to the madness.
Did you have like a after? Was it like an after party house?
It was just a nonstop action house.
Oh.
Everything was happening all the time.
I don't remember seeing roaches though, but I'm sure you had tons.
We had roaches.
Tons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have a video of somebody, our friend Adrian eating. And he's just sitting there eating out of a dirty bowl of oatmeal, and there's like roaches climbing behind him.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
It was a crazy place, but yeah, that's where I met. I met Akko, but she doesn't remember. So I remember.
Akko doesn't remember the first time we met either.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, when did you move to LA?
2001.
Okay.
Yeah, like 2 weeks before September 11th.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's when we opened Giant Robot Store. literally 2
Wow.
weeks. Yeah.
Perfect
August.
timing.
About August 25th, I think we opened, and September 11th was September 11th. So that's about when we opened the store.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow. Same time you moved.
Yeah, because you did a comic, like actually somewhat like last year. The one that was based on the story about, was it
446. No, I'm just kidding. 442. I'm just kidding.
442.
Yeah.
What's 446?
I just made that shit up.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
442 is a famous battalion.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's why I just made up a wrong number.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I was just trying to see if you noticed, but you didn't. So.
No,
Yeah,
it's and I guess it's like I guess it's kind of based on Japanese Americans who lived in concentration camps being drafted into the war to fight.
Drafted and volunteered.
Yeah. And which of course is an example of your, I guess, more your illustration work.
Yeah, it was a job.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have a personal connection to the story. My grandfather was in the 442, and a lot of my family.
Oh, really?
Like extended family is in the 442.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's, I guess, I don't know. That's
pretty gnarly.
I mean,
yeah, that's gnarly.
It's super gnarly, but it's also like, it's one of those things to genuinely feel proud of as an American, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Yeah. And he watercolored those pages.
Yes.
oh yeah,
That's crazy.
It's over 700 individual paintings for that. fucking thing.
That's dumb.
Wow.
Yeah, never.
No, I
Never do that
remember
shit.
the show. There was a lot of paper on the walls.
Yeah, that wasn't all of it.
Oh, jeez.
I just, like whittle it down to something that could actually fit in there.
So the current show has a lot of eruptions, but that has nothing to do with the explosions that in the comic, right? Or I guess there's like smoke in the
Yeah.
comics, and when I see those, I kind of think, oh, these are sort of like that, but they're eruptions. Are they not related at all?
No, they're not related at all. Although
I mean, just at
like,
least design wise or
I
anything.
kind of got good at painting explosions
Yeah.
over time, because there's a lot of action in the comic.
What do the eruptions mean then in that case?
So the eruptions are. This is difficult for me to explain.
That's why I asked.
I wrote like a
Okay.
post about it that's probably more concise, but I'll try to be explain it well enough. So like, I needed to paint something that was beyond verbal and had no. It was only about energy release, and I needed I needed to paint something calm and just absolutely. It's like basically I'm just tripping out on watercolor.
Oh, okay.
But so they're kind of like, I think of them as as Zen paintings. Like when I hear what Zen monks used to talk about, or how they talk about what they're doing, it's like they do something that's takes minimal brushstrokes. They're engaging with the material, like, and its most natural and direct form. And it's like, I think I described them. The painting is what it is doing.
Okay.
So
It's erupting.
right. It's
It's
putting
releasing energy in the form of
right. I'm releasing
clouds
energy.
and
I'm putting the water on the paper. I'm letting the water just kind of swim around and do what it wants, and then I'm dropping pigment into the water, and then just reacting to it. You know what I mean? So it's just like I'm thinking about it in 3-dimensional space. So I'm kind of touching spots that will make it have weight or have. I feel ridiculous talking about this.
dude, you sound so much better than whenever I talk about my own work. So like, I'm very impressed.
Thanks. Yeah. So, I'm making it look like an eruption.
Right.
Like I'm not manipulating it, but I'm trying to make it feel as natural and be as natural as possible. It's being as direct as the medium can be. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's like, I want this to be. Well, I just, when I started making them, I wasn't thinking about it at all. And I was just like, oh, that's pretty. And I like watching watercolor do its thing. And then it sort of just over time developed into these things that I could do if I needed to step aside from especially commercial work or super narrative work, or the other kind of like super intense work that I will often get into, where I just like I'm overthinking it, and I need to go to a place where I'm not overthinking the painting. It's like, it's more like play. It's like making a natural event happen. And then
Amazing.
it's very to me, it's like it's an honest painting. There's no veil between the viewer and what the painting is and is doing.
Even the biggest one, because like the biggest one,
The biggest one has a little narrative element.
Yeah, because like I know you have those characters that I'm never sure. I'm not even sure when they're walking away or walking towards.
Oh, they're walking towards that.
They're walking towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They're not even human, right? And some are humanoid, some are four-legged.
Yeah,
something.
that one's like they're like wilderness. They kind of represent a wilderness.
So yeah,
Balance.
because I remember looking at the postcard of it, and like, on one hand, yeah, you could see like the kineticness of it all, but at the same time, like, because I'm always like, looking for.
You thought it looked like a cock, huh?
Oh, I definitely. I was joking around at your show that looked like cocks.
There's a lot of big red dicks in the show.
Yes,
Sure.
But then I also was thinking like there's like some of them, like especially on the big one, where like there was like kind of like a fork like kind of like plumes that were like they were coming radiating out that kind of reminded me of mushrooms.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
And then like of course you had like the mushroom stuff go across the way and toward the front of this the gallery with the hands and the heads with the mushrooms coming out and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's definitely a relationship.
Yes,
Like you're saying, the work is connected, just by nature if it's coming out of my hands. But
right. Well, but like I mean, of course, mushroom clouds, etc. So. It took me a long time actually to kind of make the associate, like trying to understand like why mushroom clouds are mushroom clouds.
really,
Yeah, like I never really thought about it. Like, oh, it's a fucking mushroom cloud, But then like I was trying to wrap my head around like what it means for that kind of kinetic force and its impact on the earth and like the way it brings things up and fucking pushes things away, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Mushroom cloud.
yeah. And a lot of volcanic eruptions have mushroom clouds,
Right.
too. Like,
Yeah.
and I just thought I made that association in my head while I was making them. I didn't even like. I can see why people see like the bomb.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm not. It clearly looks like a bomb went off, but I think more of like pressure building, and then this natural event happening.
Like Mount St. Helens had like a mushroom
Right.
cloud for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on my birthday.
Wow.
Whoa. You're just like got all kinds of crazy like things and dates and weird
Well,
associations.
it happened on my birthday.
So
Are you still reading a lot? Because you're the only person I know who reads. Actually, I mean, you read manga.
yeah.
There you go.
I've never said I read.
But he reads big boring books.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
reading. That's not what I
Yeah.
do. Is not reading. That's
Yeah.
reading.
I would say I've slowed down a lot. Like, there's a lot of good TV.
Right. There's a lot of good TV out there.
So what were the last books you read, though? Nonetheless,
The one I'm reading right now is called I, Claudius.
what's the point of? I don't even know what this. I don't know why I asked that. I'm
Akko's actually read like 20 books in the past 3 weeks, but it's all the same.
like what? Like
Ursula Le Guin Earthseed series. It's like sci-fi fantasy,
Oh.
or it's a fantasy.
That's cool.
Series. She's just like blazing through them.
But that's like reading dessert, right? That's like fun. The books you read aren't fun.
You read literature. You read
Yeah.
literature.
So does she. I'm gonna.
Well, your books aren't fun. Your books are boring.
I disagree, but I guess
They're like classics. You read classics. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not reading Robert Heinlein or something or whatever.
Those
it is,
are
or,
classics.
Or Piers Anthony. You're not. Are you reading Xanth? You don't read that,
No.
right?
Piers Anthony. That's not a classic.
No. What I'm saying is but that would be the junk reading, right? Piers Anthony might be.
I guess
the
I
fun
read
stuff.
a shitload of Piers Anthony.
Yeah, that'd be
in
fun,
high
right?
school.
You read
Yeah.
the Xanth stuff. It's fun, right? But then you're reading boring shit where I'm like, fuck, this is the book that goes into the book rack to give away. You know? You know what I'm saying? This isn't the one you take thinking I'm going to read it and you don't read it. You're reading the books that I want to get rid of. So, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we've talked about books that we both like. That
I don't think so. I don't like any books anymore. Yeah. No books.
I only buy art.
you're not a
books.
Murakami reader.
I've read some of his stuff and no, I don't read
Yeah.
anymore. I don't read anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, I've given up reading.
Jeez. The
Really?
fall of civilization.
Yeah, I don't read books.
You
No
don't
more.
like, but you read a lot on.
stopped.
You read a lot of different like.
Reddit. Yeah, all in like 50-word bits.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely awful. Yeah.
Are you
My
re-
attention span is definitely is being murdered.
I mean, but I do collect. But I've been getting like books still that I want to read, and I haven't read one. And I think I probably grabbed about 20 books in the last 2 years, maybe, and I haven't read any of them. And I have this nice stack of books good to go, and I'm just not reading them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best.
Reading or
Yeah.
not reading?
Reading.
Oh, okay.
Is the
I
if you get into a book, it's like the most. To me, it's like this fucking balm on your brain. It's so you fire on every cylinder.
So,
like,
but
while you're
okay,
doing it.
but any book? Are you talking about any
Not
book?
any
or-
book,
oh.
like a book that you like, a book that you get into.
know, but
like
like
I'm
my-
fully into like if you're not into it within the first like 30, 50 pages, like, don't read it
But I mean, like,
because I've wasted a lot of time on books
So-
that I thought were like, all right, when's it gonna? Somebody said this was good. When's it gonna happen? And then I get to the end, I'm like, fuck. Like,
so like my dad reads those John Grisham books.
yeah,
And then my mom's like, she calls those junk books. She goes, why don't you give Dad something to do, like meaning a project around the house, like build me this, Dad. Build me a cabinet,
Yeah.
anything. Because he's just sitting around reading those junk books. That's what my mom calls it, and it's like watching like really shitty TV, right?
I think it's
you know,
probably still better for you than even watching good TV.
Really?
Like, I don't know. So they say like they do studies. Maybe it's propaganda
'Cause you're
from
calling it this-
from the like publishing industry or something.
Yeah, I
But-
those studies about like TV rotting your brain. I mean, like I totally understand the idea of like a book kind of like feeding your brain in a way because it forces your brain to work in ways than
Yeah, you're way more engaged.
yeah, and
In any book,
right,
you're seeing pictures.
Yeah, no, exactly. But at the same time, I think that there is something to be said about like even just looking at pictures,
For sure.
stuff. Especially like if you're, allow your mind to like be inspired by the visual. I'm always surprised like where like my ideas come from. Or ideas for paintings or something like that just show up like in weird places, like fucking watching an infomercial or some shit like that, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, or whatever, But I mean, like, or like, a lot of the time it's actually me reading
mundane
lyrics.
places.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's not like, it's funny because like I keep like trying to build like a nice like library of art books, for me to like, reference, in case I ever want to reference. And it's just this big thing that's like taking up a lot of space in my fucking apartment, and I rarely like pull those books out, just because they feel kind of weird. Like I don't want to crack their spines, and I don't want to like like dirty them with my hands. Like because like whenever I start flipping through a new book, I will take the time to wash my hands and make sure everything is like nice and like I'm not leaving fucking fingerprints on it. And then as I'm about to like go wash my hands, like I don't want to fucking wash my hands. I don't want to fucking deal with this. I'm just gonna fucking open up my tablet and watch a video, So which is kind of sad. But I mean, like I do kind of feel like that is kind of the way the world is going nowadays, don't you think?
Of course, yeah. There's no denying it.
Like writing. Our attention spans in general are getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
And what's really sad, like, do you ever like catch yourself like going to like other people's art shows and then you're just like 5 seconds, knowing that these people spent hours and days and if not months.
Oh, they're doing that to your work too, right?
Right.
The opposite, right? Like just today, a bunch of people came to look at your art, and seriously, just seconds.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I like this one. Okay, bye.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, bye.
I mean, makes sense. People
Yeah.
like visual blowjobs. They just want the thing. They want the candy in their mouth really fast. They swallow it and they leave.
Right.
Yeah.
What can you do? I mean, I guess that's my answer to the cause thing. Like, it's pop. Like, straight up visual blowjobs.
Visual blowjobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's really also it's so gratifying when somebody spends the time, or like how rare it is that somebody will come up and like talk to you about and like say some like they're seeing some shit that you buried deep in there and like you fucking saw that. That's
Wow.
It's so great.
I usually only find the mistakes. I'm like, you buried that mistake, and I'm like, I found it, but that's what I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, look at that's supposed to be there, and that's what I find. Because I'm looking, but I'm looking for the.
Have you
wrong
ever
things.
noticed how like perceptive Eric is when he looks at artwork? Like he really looks at it, I think, in a different way than the way most people consume artwork.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because he's looking for like, look
Oh,
at this angle's not right. I saw the pattern, but this breaks the pattern.
Yeah.
You fucked up right there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I wish I mean I feel like I should be looking at art that way, but
It's
I don't know.
okay.
You have so much energy.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
No.
I think, most of the time it's you push yourself at some moments, but then if you're not like engaging, like what I was just saying about the book, like the first couple chapters, if you're not getting into it, like you're
Right.
it might be worth it every once in a while to be like, well, I'll push through a couple more chapters and see what happens. But it's also not worth your time if you're not into it. And then another day you might look at the same painting and it will be like a completely different experience.
Right.
It's like there's definitely like a ton of artists that, when I was younger, I was like, I don't get this at all. And now like I love them. They're like some of my favorite artists. And the stuff I was into then I was like, meh.
Oh,
Like,
give us some examples. Like,
Yeah.
You put it on the table, so you got to tell us what they are or who they are.
Let me think. I don't know. Like, oh shit, what happened?
I don't know. That was weird.
That was weird. I think that might have been me. Like, oh, I get it. Let's see.
Oh,
There you go.
all right. I
Sorry.
think we're still running.
Yeah, it was just the mixing board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot of the abstract folks.
Right.
It was like, what is this? And even some of their, like, it'll just be hit and miss with their stuff. Like Mark Rothko.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've been to a couple shows like where I'm like, oh my God, like the walls are like vibrating. And then I go see one of his paintings, like even bigger. It's just blue. Doesn't seem particularly well painted. Like, it's just, you're not feeling the piece.
I think Mark Rothko was one of those artists whom I learned to appreciate through art history classes. Because when you study, like, especially like that, mid 20th century, kind of, like the progression of art, from like surrealism to pop art, and the color field stuff, etc. Like, his work and his brand really just kind of stands out. And then, like, you hear about stuff like,
Stop it, man.
it's actually like I kind of actually one of the few that like actually like
You embrace the term.
I embrace it. I do because since my work is so character driven, and it's kind of like being like relegated to like 5 or 6 different characters that I've created. Like, I definitely feel like my work subscribes to that brand idea. Anyways,
Right.
But like, Mark Rothko, and then when you hear about like some of the things that he was doing, like, the mortuary kind of, was it a mortuary or a church? The church.
Church.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the church.
I've never been there, but it looks rad.
And like, you kind of like begin to like, I love color theory. Color theory, I think, is definitely like, one of those things that like I've always kind of enjoyed.
Are you eventually going to just eliminate the characters and just going to be here?
I would love to.
Just the backgrounds.
Yeah.
I actually, when one of my earliest paintings was kind of started off with a Rothko-esque kind of composition, and then I just kind of inserted my characters into it. So
that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm a Rothko. I like Rothko as well. So
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Maybe it was is it MoMA that I mean, I think I saw one at MoMA, and LACMA has one for sure, right?
Yeah, Mocha has like a room. I think that is mostly his
Does it?
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I think LACMA has at least one piece, but they stand out when I see it. I know exactly what.
And
I'm
then if
looking
you go to Forever 21, there's a whole bunch of wannabe Rothkos.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you seen those?
No.
Have you ever been into a Forever
at.
21?
No,
Okay, if you ever at least the last time I went, I found myself in the
Is
middle of a Forever 21.
is it T-shirts that?
No, they had these paintings up on
wow.
environmental paintings that were pseudo Rothko kind of compositions.
Can someone get a Rothko T-shirt? Is there such thing? Have you ever
Oh,
seen
I
one?
bet.
I've
Yeah.
not seen one.
Probably some museum offers it.
Really?
Would offer it.
Make some bootleg Rothko GR shirts.
That would be pretty good.
It'd be funny, right?
That'd be pretty good. You know what the thing is though is that from my understanding about Rothko is that he was doing all of his stuff with house paint, and because house paint isn't designed to have the kind of archival
It's
qualities.
unarchival, yeah.
It's pigments are washing out.
Really?
And, yeah.
Wow.
And they're crumbling.
There's a couple of those guys that's happening to. Lautrec is he was drawing on cardboard, so you can I can go back to a museum every 10 years and see the deterioration
Wow.
on some of the
They just gotta
stuff.
they
And
gotta
then-
take that out of the light then.
Yeah, I can't remember the other guy. He's the guy who painted these violently painted these women. What's his name?
Tim Biscup. He did that for a while, right?
Yeah.
Picasso did that. I can't remember. He's one of the big mid 20th century artist guys. But he I think he was using Wesson as his
Oil.
as his oil extender.
Whoa.
And so the paintings are basically sliding off or sweating off now.
Holy shit.
Jeez.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But hey, it's, you gotta do what you gotta do to get to where you want to get.
Wow, that's weird. Hey, so one question came up that's maybe there's an attempt at being controversial from a guy named Brian Crowther.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys like black people? That was the question. Isn't that weird? That was one of the weirdest questions.
Dude, LC, who is African American, is a guy I've been trying to get on this show forever now.
But you hate him, so oh well.
No,
I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like the answer should be obvious,
Right.
and I don't want to answer. I don't know why I don't want to answer. It
When I was
seems like an annoying question.
when I was a little kid, my best friend was black. That's, anyway. But.
no, yeah, no, no.
Of course.
Of course, I'm. Yeah, I don't.
That was a stopper right there.
Yeah, that was
a tough one. That's why I had to ask it.
That was
punch
weird.
it.
That was
Yeah.
no. I mean, look,
Got you. Look, you're just mumbling now.
Yeah, I am. I'm,
You're just
I'm
like,
like
I-
what? What? Do I
think so.
come off?
Wait,
as,
LC.
Do
he's
I?
my best friend. He's
No,
he's my best friend.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
no.
kidding.
I
kidding.
wouldn't call him my best friend,
No.
but he's
Maybe
definitely a
gonna
person
maybe
that.
he's asking if we like black artists.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's what he's
Yes.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's he's asking. I think they're
Okay.
just asking that anyway.
No. I hate black people. Of course not.
It's gonna be the one pull
Jeez.
quote from that
Did,
episode.
did you see the person? And it was it Eagle Rock, or was it in Echo Park? It was somebody at a supermarket, totally racist woman. I mean, it was it's one of those. Someone filmed a person just saying the most racist,
Just ranting racist gibberish.
N-word, N-bomb, whatever.
Whoa.
Just and it was
They
like
have
2
Tourette's
days.
or
It was 2 days ago, and the person was like a stylist, I believe, on TV shows and stuff.
Oh.
And totally now people are just really pissed off because they know who that is, and she works on TV shows and stuff like that.
Wait, she's the person who was saying it?
Yeah, and she was
Whoa.
yeah.
She was a stylist.
or something like that, or a fashion clothing stylist from TV shows or something.
Oh no.
Someone kind of of some renowned work a little bit, and then that was just totally busted, just going nuts and
Wow.
racist. And that was I just saw it yesterday on Public Freakouts, right? So but the whole thing
Is
was
that your YouTube channel?
yeah, but the thing
No,
was
it's a Reddit.
yeah,
channel.
subreddit. But the whole thing was this was in Southern Cal, like in I think it was Eagle Rock or it was Echo Park, one of the E cities. But And I was one of those things where I was like, that's here though, because usually when that happens, it's like in Kentucky or something.
Dude, like
But
Orange County's like it was just in the news today that like Orange County the amount of racist attacks, racially motivated attacks and stuff like that has grown like. I think it was like 10%, or like it was a significant number in Orange County.
Wow.
So I mean that we're talking about Orange County. So.
Yeah, this was L.A. Like we're near you, maybe.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people from Orange County fucking living
That's
out.
true. But this person works in the film industry. I don't know. These people are like writing.
What race is she?
This is a white lady. But there's all the comments are like, oh, this person. Works on the same show as I have, but I didn't meet them on the, just there's tons of like people are commenting and they're saying, oh, they want to get rid of, they're writing to the union to boot her out of the union and all this stuff.
Man, I'm trying to remember this whole story.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get it wrong. But Jean.
Yeah. She came to your art show, by the way.
She was gone by the time.
Yeah. Yeah. She was very early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she goes to places for like 2 minutes at a time.
That's what she did. Yeah. I took a picture though.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
That was very important.
It's a major
it's proof.
visit.
Just proof. Yeah. Anyway,
she and her husband were like at the Whole Foods in the Whole Foods parking lot in Glendale, and then some lady like who she said she just looked like a hippie, like a kind of granola-y, like in her 60s lady who came up to her husband Rob, who's a white guy, and was like. I can't remember what she said exactly, but she was basically chastising him for marrying an Asian woman.
Wow.
She's like, it's like, why don't you? It's like I don't even remember what she said. I think he was just like, what he said is like he couldn't. It was so shocking to him that he couldn't figure out. He got mixed up between saying "fuck you" and "fuck off," and he said "fuck you off" at her.
Wait, why did he remember that? That's what he remembered.
Yeah, that's what he remembered. And he told Jean when they got in the car, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And then Jean like ran out of she like got out of the car and like confronted the lady.
Oh, really?
And she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then the lady was like, just said something like, "Oh, Asian women are so confrontational."
What?
Or spoiled or something.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like in that case, that was definitely a confrontation.
Well, I mean, the lady, I would say, is being confrontational.
Yeah.
What is she doing?
Wow. That's crazy.
She's asking for it.
Wow. Any more questions?
I'm noticing I'm noticing a trend too on those public freakout videos of a little bit of a trend of people fighting back against females, like physically, like fighting.
Wow.
Like there's a lot of like, oh, you're not supposed to hit a woman. I'm noticing more and more, it seems like, at least with people in high school, that guys are just not holding back anymore. They're beating the shit out of a female. Jesus. Like if they get hit first, they're if they're provoked enough, they'll have their hands behind their back and they're getting hit. Finally, they'll say, "Hey, stop, or else I'm going to hit you back." And then they get hit again. Right. It's like a test, right? The person decides, "Okay, I'm going to hit him." Even he said this, and then all of a sudden, bam! Yep. KOs, knockouts. I'm like, that's starting to happen more and more. It seems like.
Did you see there was a great public freakout video I watched a couple days ago of like
I'm not
it was
sure
just
if
like
I want to watch any of these.
Well, we don't read books.
All right.
There was this big kid who was just standing there, and he gets. I think the caption was like, shouldn't have hit him 4 times.
Oh, that's an old video, by the way.
I never. That was the first time.
It's been around for years.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's like it basically like hits him 4 times, then he just like comes in and just body slams him.
There's also a lot of maybe the underdog beating the bully videos. There seems to be a little more of those with the captions are always like saying highlighting the underdogness, and which I guess that's what
like the
people
Justice Served videos.
Yeah, people want to see
Probably
those.
rather see that.
Yeah, Justice Served is great.
Well, because we can't. I think.
I'm all for Justice Served.
I think that's because people are kind of helpless to politics and so many things going on that you don't even want to watch it. But then when you see that, you're like, oh, the
satisfying.
Yeah, the underdog beat the Goliath type of thing. So
yeah,
I think people get really happy to see that. Yeah,
agreed.
Maybe that's where it comes from. Not sure.
Last time you guys were in a fight?
Junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elementary school, I think.
Mine was high school.
High school?
Mm-hmm.
What happened when?
Whoa.
Oh wow.
Oh, we got to get that light back on.
Oh, the light did go off.
Yeah.
Hold on for a second.
Is it showing us?
What's that?
I think we're sort of visible.
Yeah, I can sort of see. Like, is that me? No, it's not. You're visible. I'm not.
Why'd that light go out?
Oh, it's because it's on a timer.
It's on
Okay.
a timer.
What are you doing?
It's like we're just being too still.
Can you set the timer on from your phone?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I don't know if I can. Hold on, let me try. Anyways, tell us a story, Rob.
Yeah. Tell us the story about your fight.
Well,
Because high school fights are very different from elementary school and junior
Yeah.
high school fights.
I've been in a few later ones, but I'll probably not tell those. But I think the last time I used to get jumped a lot in my neighborhood, and I think the last time my freshman year in high school in Sacramento, I got jumped by a gang.
Oh.
Me and a friend were walking home from homecoming game. And
Baseball or football, I guess. Yeah.
And I was still, I can't believe I lived this all-American life. It seems so silly.
Wow.
But yeah, then like we were walking through my old elementary school field, and then this group of kids just basically they just wanted to beat the shit out of somebody.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's not a fight. That just sounds like you just got beat up.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I threw a couple punches. I still have a scar on my hand here where one of the guy's teeth came off in my hand.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So you hit a guy in the mouth.
Yeah.
And took his
It
teeth.
was just a wild ass throwing. It was just like throwing punches like not very well.
But the
just like
but the
there's
fact
so many of them.
but the fact is you connected on one. That's all it took.
That's
right?
all it took.
Yeah.
But like I was one of the guys hit me in the, like his fist hit me right in the ear, and I think it busted my eardrum for I was like deaf in it for like 3 weeks or something.
Oh wow.
Oh, you know what came to mind? Some kid burned my arm. I think I was in 11th or 12th grade. He burned my arm with an iron that you use to mount like photos on a, let's say you want to, like to dry mount something. Then right before you put it in the press, you use this iron to tack the corners. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like you put there's some kind of like sheet that kind of is like glue almost. You put it to the back of the photo, and then you use that big iron.
Yeah.
You use
Okay,
that big
I
mat thing or whatever you call it, the big press. Anyway, so he burned my arm with the thing for no reason. Like he decided he grabbed it and just burned it, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like
Just
burned
curious
it,
to see
it
what's
totally
happening.
burned my arm.
Yeah.
So I punched him in the jaw, and then like I don't expect a knockout or anything, but I punched him pretty hard in the jaw, and he kind of went backwards, and I was like, oh, he didn't go on the ground, nothing happened. So I hit him again. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it again. I did it twice, and he still didn't. Nothing happened. Like he didn't fall, but he was really bummed. And
Man.
So I did that. I hit him twice in the jaw.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I remember I was like, oh shit, I guess I'm gonna get fired. And the boss actually, I told him what happened to the boss, and the boss looked at the kid and went, because he worked there too. And he looked at the kid and he goes, "You better watch it." That's all. That's what the boss said. I remember the line. I was like, "Whoa, okay." He sided with me on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, because
Man.
I got burned in the arm.
Yeah. I think you're justice served.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's not really a fight though. He didn't fight me except he burned my arm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I lost, I think, every single fight I've ever been in except for one, and it didn't feel good to win.
Oh.
It was like it was a slumber party in either 6th or 7th grade. and it's I think I always say, like, I've thrown 2 successful punches in my life, and the one was the tooth in my hand, and this is the other one. It was like one of those slumber parties, like just boys beating the shit out of each other all night with like pillows and that kind of stuff. It was like a pillow fight.
Right.
Super lame. But then this one guy just started getting really tired. He was like, I don't want to do this anymore, which meant that he got pummeled. Like, he was the only one getting hit after that. So he was like really pissed after a while. And it was like 3 a.m, and I was walking to the bathroom. It was like everybody's like starting to go to sleep. And like I was just like, eh. And then I hit him again with the pillow.
Oh no.
And he freaked out. He was so pissed. Like he made this weird strangulated noise, and he's like, ah! And he ran passed me into the bathroom, and I was like, what's going on? And he came out with this can of foot powder.
Foot powder.
It's the stuff that you'd spray on your feet. Yeah,
Desenex.
It's like foot powder. He started wailing on me with it.
Wow.
So, like he hit me across the face. And I was like, whoa, and like this powder's like going everywhere.
What?
So I turned around and I was like, oh man, like I'm sorry, but it just went on for so long that I just again through just this blind punch, I like did this uppercut, and it hit him in the jaw, and it was also one of those weird. It's like it didn't hurt at all, like it just connected so perfectly, and his mouth made that like when you hit somebody in the mouth, they're like
right,
and then just, and like he went up like off of his feet and like arced backwards. And I was like, oh shit! And it's like I can see him in the light of the bathroom like arcing back. It's sort of beautiful. Like I'm like, oh, like in slow motion, like damn, I can't believe I did that. And then he was out. Like,
you knocked him out?
I actually knocked him out.
Wow.
But I didn't. And then he like woke up. Like it was only a couple seconds. He woke up and there was like he was like, and like all this blood started coming out of his mouth, and he coughed up a couple of teeth came out. I was like, oh no. And he started freaking out, and like he started just like screaming. And then of course the parents like woke up, and then they had to take us all home. I felt really, really terrible. Like he wasn't like I was a bad guy, and I was way bigger than he was.
So have you seen him since?
I saw him at that kid's birthday the next year, and I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. And he's like, it's all right.
What if you saw him like to this day? What would happen?
I don't know.
Oh.
I think it would be fine. Like I don't really. He was. A friend of a friend of a friend. It wasn't somebody who went to our same school.
You were too
I didn't
young.
see him.
Yeah,
it was like super young, but like,
yeah.
I don't like it. That's my knockout record.
For example, a guy in my high school, he like dudes in high school that are all proud of fighting, especially if they're good at fighting. So one guy went to a private school from our public school. Lunchtime, he went to this private school, Crossroads, because he wanted to fight somebody. So they went there, like a few guys, and I heard the story is that he went and found this guy and he punched him, and punched him in the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I won, went back to the school, and yeah, he went to the school, he went over there and punched the guy in the face, right?
Yeah.
And then years later, meeting, work related, and in the meeting comes that guy. And it's like all awkward. It's like, it's like a company meeting type of thing. And it's like, there's the guy punched. And, they fully knew, like,
yeah,
they both knew. And it was like, he was just like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff is weird afterwards.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh no,
Yeah. Theirs was, actually, I did win a fight that I should have won. Like, it wasn't really even a fight. I threw one. This kid in the locker room called me. He said, "Fuck you, you fat Jap." I was a little bit fat when I was a kid, and I hit him in the stomach, and then he like wandered over to like a garbage can to like kind of spit up into it, and I felt justice was served. But I don't think it had any effect on him afterwards. Like he's still like he's just like one of those weird energetic kids.
But he didn't say that to you again.
No.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Justice served.
Yeah. Yeah. We need a gavel, where it's like clunk, it's over.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Go back to your life.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. Oh, a message came from Darren Inoue, Georgia code.
Oh yeah.
Darren. He says that him and his wife came to see her show, but they were too late on a Saturday. We were already closed, and they didn't get to see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You should come back.
But he said that they like your work.
Oh, thanks.
So, yeah.
Come on Saturday for the
closing party Saturday.
Closing party Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. You could hear Rob at 4 p.m.
Tell more.
Be quiet.
Punching stories.
Yeah. You can talk. He'll talk about every piece there in great detail.
Yes, 2-hour talk on
every piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I hope I'm able to drag myself out of my apartment.
And you're gonna bring some other prints. And I actually wrote, and I ended up deleting it because I had to look it up what it meant. I wrote, you're gonna bring prints and assorted sundries. You know, I looked up sundries and I go, no, I guess I'm not. I end up
sundries is just goods.
goods, but
It's
it
like-
was kind of like cheap goods, isn't it?
Right.
Sort of. So I was like, oh, I guess I just deleted that word. I just thought it sounded nice though.
Yeah.
It
is
sounded
good.
Sundries is a nice word.
it
for-
sounded retro, kind of
Yeah.
retro. Like you're gonna bring a basket of cool stuff in a basket.
Yeah.
But no.
Usually that would be like in a general store.
Yeah.
It's like they have, cold drinks and sundries.
Yeah, exactly. I
Like
just thought,
gum.
Yeah.
Rob Sato gum.
I was just thinking, but
Gum and
Mints.
Cracker Jacks.
yeah,
Yum.
color field
Fitting in the all-American
color field
world
studies.
that I live in.
Anyway,
What?
color field studies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing in time?
We have gone way past our time.
Oh shit.
Sorry. Those fighting stories just took us deep, Rob Sato's fighting. So
like Rob's life. Like I always like whenever I think of Rob, I think of like this really quiet guy,
Yep.
and just kind of chill.
we learned a lot about Rob.
Yes.
There's like drugs, fighting.
Drugs and
Yeah.
fighting.
Dirty apartment.
And, like,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Rob. I can feel more at ease around you now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Now I want to hear how you felt before.
There's
Just this uptight
there's
church
some
boy or
people
something?
out there that like I just like because I don't know them I will kind of kind of just I don't want to offend people or like I think like especially when I first met you I would be like I'd be a little bit more like quiet and, timid or not
be quiet.
but then yes I'd be quiet. I would be your show, and then but then like as I get to know people more, I'll kind of like loosen up and
Now shit can be talked.
now shit will be talked. I'll
like
just
we
show
talk
up
some
to your
shit.
show with a big old can of foot powder, and watch, and Eric will have the camera. It'll be great.
Awesome. Justice will be served.
And justice
Yeah.
will be
Yes.
served.
Justice will be served. Be careful.
That's
Oh yeah.
That's
I feel like I still have something coming to me for punching that kid.
Wow.
So maybe you'll be serving the justice.
maybe
Avenging
that's
angel for.
maybe that's
that
your
poor
next
guy.
show is
Yeah.
justice served.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna have to explain what the title of the show means later.
Okay.
I guess on Saturday.
You'll be
All right.
recording
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I probably will. So, how do people find you? Just Instagram?
On Instagram, mostly on Instagram. I have a website, robsato.com, but who looks at those?
RobSato.com?
Sure, Rob Sato. Sato. I've had that one.
Oh, like a saddle?
Sato.
Sato.
Or
Yeah.
mostly what I get now is Santos or Santo or Soto.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Well,
Oh yeah, I think the zine says Rob Soto. That there's the zine from that Vince. What's this? The show
Oh, right.
in East
Yeah,
LA.
the Vince,
Vince
Vincent
McMahon.
Price.
Vincent
Vince McMahon Museum.
Vincent Price Museum.
Yeah.
And it says Rob Soto on the
Yep.
zine. So
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Nonetheless.
think between me and Akko, we get our names misspelled
yeah.
weirdly a lot.
So-
Hers is a little bit more difficult. But
Yeah. RobSato.com and Instagram is just Rob Sato?
Mhm.
Or is it Rob Sato Art?
No, just Rob.
Just
Sato.
Rob Sato. So
Yeah.
you were early. Got your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to lock that one down.
Good.
nice.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
The Gmail was taken.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know who has that shit.
Oh. Yep.
There's a couple Robert Satos out there.
Wow.
There's a sheriff in Hawaii, like
Oh,
some
really?
kid who was going to like the Cleveland Art Institute at the same time. So we used to get each other's email a
Wow.
lot because it was like some combination of CCA, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Do you look him up? Have you looked him up? See what
Yeah,
he's
I
doing.
have
art?
looked him up. Well, I don't know. It's been a while, so I don't know. I couldn't find him afterwards.
Wow. The art thing didn't work out then.
It
Maybe
doesn't
not.
work out for everyone. All
Maybe
right.
he just got a super good job, or sold out his student show and was living off that for the rest of his life.
No, doesn't fucking work that way. Not off of student work.
No.
All right.
All right, everybody, check out Rob Sato's website or
check out his
Instagram.
show,
Check out his show.
this weekend or
Yeah.
the rest of this week.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll try and come out.
Awesome.
You know, and
Thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
I thought you'd be nervous because you know you seemed like you were like really apprehensive of doing it. You know.
Oh, public speaking isn't my favorite thing, but yeah.
But this podcast is all right.
Yeah, that's a conversation. It's way better.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.